show, man, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment right now. Anyhow, I got special guests on the show, traveling data scientist, and the usual suspect, Dre Hart, on the panel. What's going on with you, Dreezy?
No, much. Just another fantastic Sunday. Had a good game today. Can't complain about the outcome. Those two teams gonna see each other again later on in the season. And hey, it's another week closer to my next excursion. Who knows where it's gonna be? Port of Spain, Barranquilla. I don't know yet. But like I said, just another day in the life of Drees, and I'm happy to be living right now.
Cool. So what up, travel data scientist? What's good with you, my brother?
Man, Drees, man, you just said something that made me think, man. Man, that's good to hear, man, because I'm going through a lot right now. I ain't gonna say it on the live, man, but I'm going through a lot, bruh. Man, I'll find out this week, but my entire existence is currently being threatened by multiple things, man. So I'm just gonna fight through with positive energy, man. Thanks, Drees, for dropping that, and we're gonna see how it all pans out.
Indeed, bro.
Well,
But
you kind of left a big ass window open right there, brother. You say you don't want to discuss it, though.
Nah, not too deep, because I don't know where it's coming from, man. I don't know where it's coming from. So it's I don't know. I don't even want to say anything. I'll know this week, but I will say this. This is a little bit I can say. It's very important that when you're living a positive life, man, and really things are really good happening to you. And I know this is weird, man, but especially when you look like us, when you don't own your own, you're constantly potentially on somebody else's chopping block, man. And it can be for something as simple as, I don't know, you came to work 2 minutes late, you know what I mean? So if I don't even know how many people in the chat right now, but for the brothers that are listening, that are here, the little bit of brothers that is here already, because I know we really didn't get started, start figuring this out now. And I've been really in this mind state as well. Rich, you got kids, right, Rich?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on now, having a child with my young lady. I was gonna say old lady, but with my young lady, and we've been working on that heavy. And I'm starting to look at things from a whole different point of view. Like I'm looking at getting real health insurance. I'm looking at getting a life insurance policy. So if anything happens to me at any time, then I know she's good, my child is good, whatever. But one of the most important things that is really making me think about for real, is generating my own source of income, man. That's so important, man. That's so important. Not just one, but just multiple streams of income, man. It's very, very, very important. So, and I don't know if I'm gonna end up having to leave Colombia. I might have to evict my tenants. It's just a lot going on right now. And I'm just like, all the positive energy I exude, I'm just kind of confused why the universe is bringing all of this weird stuff into my sphere. So I don't know. I'm just going to see what happens, man. We'll see.
All right. That's what's up, my brother. Well, I hope it works out, man. You know, you can only worry about what you can control. Things you can't control, man, just look to a higher power, man, to help you with that.
Facts.
Whatever your problem may be. Just work on the things that you can control, brother. That's all you can do, man. You know what I'm saying? The old man told me one time, he said, the only thing I can do is die black. So I'm like, well, what you mean? That's the only thing I can do. But anyhow, man, I hope your situation works out, my bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, me too.
So how the games went for you today, Drees? You know, we usually start off with the games and stuff.
well, Saints lose today for once, and Titans won today. So and and can't complain. I really didn't do any betting today, so I didn't really have too many reasons to be upset or mad or anything. But Cowboys lost again. That's always a plus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, my Falcon lost today too, man. They won on the field, but they get low in the damn draft pick. Tell them stupid motherfuckers, man. If you're gonna lose, you gotta lose all the way on out. You know? Don't be pulling off these games and shit that don't goddamn that's gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Shit. But yeah, man, so I'm just a little pissed off with them. And they wanna run the score up and shit. Wanna save the coach's job and shit. You know what I mean? So you follow the sports travel data, man? You ain't
I'm an
into that
NBA
shit,
guy.
huh?
I'm an NBA guy. Like when people talk football, I be quiet. You see how quiet I was, but when people talk basketball,
Who your team then? Speak
I mean,
on that shit.
I had a team. Every time I have a team, man, I'm really a player guy. Like I was a Spurs fan for years. Then Tim Duncan retired. Then I went to the New York Knicks because of Carmelo, and then obviously Carmelo. For those that watch the NBA, he fell all the way off, man. So now I'm rocking with Kawhi, man. And it could be bandwagon, but I've always been a Kawhi fan, obviously because I was a Spurs fan. So yeah, I want to see Kawhi take it again because I'm just ready for LeBron era to be over, bro. It's for real, bro. He's the most overhyped. He's the most overhyped superstar in the history of the NBA for several reasons. I mean, several reasons, man. You think in sports, man?
Shit, name one person that's overhyped than him.
Some people say Tom Brady, but I ain't into football at all. So
Tom Brady got 5 or 6 rings.
You right.
Bro, you can't be hyped when you got 6 rings, bro.
I make people mad. Like when I used to live in Atlanta, I used to make my homies mad. I used to work with, and I used to be like, "Yeah, Tom Brady the GOAT." It used to piss them off, bro. And I be like, "But," and I don't even watch football, but I'm like, "Bro, the man won 6 rings. Like, who can y'all compare him to?" And for anybody that don't watch football, you can easily look and be like, "Bro, he makes it every year. How is it even a debate at all?" But I don't know. I'm not a football
You're fucking GOAT for real. Shout out to Vinny also, man. Shout out to you, my brother. You need to be on the panel, my brother. So, Drees, is Tom Brady the GOAT or what?
He's the best of this era. You did, because they do have some people who won multiple championships and then lose one. I still see Joe Montana as the cream of the crop for some reason. Joe Montana is who Tom Brady is. So that's what it is.
I think it's because we know Tom Brady was caught cheating, though.
Man,
doesn't that mean something,
man.
though?
Let's be real. Because you soften up the ball, is that giving you advantage? Hold on.
Bro. They caught them spying on people and all, bro.
But is that disadvantaging the defense? Come on, man.
I'm saying but they caught them spying on people and all, and that's just what they found out, bro. Come on, man. We all done did some shit.
All the teams do the same thing, bro. Why you think they always talk like this? You think they're the only ones cheating?
Have you ever got a seatbelt violation?
Hell yeah, I gotta pay one, right?
Exactly. And how many times you been driving without your seatbelt? Exactly.
A lot of times.
Them just the times you got caught. Exactly. Them just the times bro got caught.
Yeah, you gonna get caught when they want to catch you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you taking the air out of the ball is not no disadvantage for the defense, man. It's just an advantage for you holding the ball in your hand. Maybe your wide receivers can catch it a little better. Some people put more air in the ball. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just like picking out a glove, man. If you like isotonic gloves better on your hand, that's what you're going to wear. You know what I'm saying? But that's my opinion, man. But I don't knock him for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So what you know about the Trayvon Martin case, travel data?
I'm the wrong person, man. I mean, I heard of it, of course, and I see somebody saying something in the comment about the Crips and the Bloods. But let me speak on this. For my city, you can Google this right now. Google South Carolina gang or South Carolina gang fight Ku Klux Klan. Like when the Ku Klux Klan came to South Carolina, bro, it was none of that. Like dudes was getting tossed all the way up, whole bunch of stuff. People was getting stabbed, shot at. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on. That's up to them goons in Florida, bro. Like Florida's one of the like respected spots, like Miami and all that. Y'all let this dude kill one of y'all own and just riding around like it's sweet, and then it's like nobody saying nothing or doing nothing. But yet y'all killing each other. Even Jay-Z screaming. It's like, bro, he could not have done that in my city, bro. Not my city. And like I said, I'm from a small place. Maybe that's why, but I'm sure he couldn't do that in New Orleans. Maybe in Atlanta he might be able to get away with it because dudes in Atlanta don't be caring about stuff like that. But you ain't doing that. I'm sure you ain't doing that in New Orleans. You ain't doing that in Chicago. You ain't doing that where I'm from. Like, I don't know how they letting that ride. That's all I can say about that. Dude just in the grocery store living his life and nobody like slapping him or nothing. Like, I don't know.
Speak on it, Drees. You think he's just walking around the hood?
Joe Zimmerman? No, man. He can't. You know, I mean, besides, even if he was, it's not like the people that's trying to do that want something done to him gonna actually do something to him. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being honest. But if that was a black man that shot Trayvon Martin, that dude would be dead already.
Yeah. Now, exactly. Now, but be honest, Drees, do you think that could ride in New Orleans? If it was not a police, if it was just an average citizen, you think that'd be able to ride in New Orleans, bro?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You gotta think about it, man. When black folks are always trying to, you know, I said something to somebody the other day. I was saying, there was this lady who went and got a hairstyle from the hairdresser. She gets all the way home and then says, "Hey, look, oh shit, my hair's fucked up." And all of a sudden, she just ran outside and beat up the mailman. So, does that make sense?
Nah.
Well, we want to sit up here, and when we want to bypass 350 black people killing black people to get to the one white person that killed a black person. But the thing about it, that one white person, they won't touch him. But if George Zimmerman was a black dude, he'd be dead already.
Good point. I don't even think he's white though. I think he's like Spanish mix. I think his family was white, but
if he was black, he'd be dead already.
Right. Roll the motherfucking tape. Brian Boy, shout out to you, player. Let me know when you coming to the A-Town, man. We'll pop a few bottles, man. And I ain't talking about Aquafina.
Huh.
But yeah, man, you got a good point, man. Like you say, man, I don't think one town is harder than the next town, man. Like, I mean, yeah, he did it in Florida. Of course, right after the shit hit the fan, he left the state of Florida where he was hiding. It wasn't like he was just walking around. Just like Drew said, I don't think he's just walking around now. Now, he may just go to the store here and there, stuff like that, but he ain't really hanging out like that. He ain't hanging out like that. He couldn't be, man. You know, I mean, if anything, he would have got. He should have got at least got a black eye by now.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I don't know.
They didn't do nothing all this time. Ain't nothing gonna happen to that dude.
Damn. And now he's suing the family, bro. That's why I'm just different, bro. If something was to happen to my family member, bro, I wonder where the man at and his family, bro. Like, I don't know.
Trayvon Martin family?
I'm just different, bro. I'm just different. Like, me and my family, we just different. Well, matter of fact, I'm lying. My family's older now, but my cousins, me, including my cousins, a couple years ago, bro, we risking it all, bro. Like, they killed one of your family members, this dude. At least in the court, we would have, you know, like something, we would have went. Bro, something would have happened, dog. Like you said, at least a black eye, something, bro. Like, it's like everybody hugging people and forgiving everybody, and it's like The dude that got shot, I seen a picture today, even though I've been seeing it, but somebody shared it again on the timeline where the lady was hugging the dude, or the white lady was hugging the judge, and it's like, and the dude who was apparently like a family member of the guy or something, it was a black dude too, hugged it. I'm like, yo, what? That's why, man. That's why when we first started the show, I'm telling you just a little bit about what that's why I say, man, I do not want to go back to the Matrix, y'all. Like, I'm not even gonna say don't, because that's the law of attraction. When you say don't, you actually attract more of it. So I'm just gonna say I want to keep living my life in prosperity, man, because the Matrix, bro, is too much shit, man. It's too much shit, bro. That's why I decided I'm just gonna sell my house. If whatever happens with my tenants, I'm gonna probably let them go ahead and finish out this lease. But man,
probably. So
yeah,
you pick them out before the lease is up?
yeah, I did it before. So not with them, but I had some other tenants before with another property. So all you got to do as a landlord is just write a letter of terminating the lease. That's it. Just write a letter. I always get them 2 months, and then just terminate the lease and just call it a day. And then if they don't want to leave, then you go through the eviction process. But usually when you give them a free month rent, I just be like, yo, just had a free month. And they usually always leave, man, because really people just want their money.
They gonna get a free month in there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, I've only had to evict one person, and I've been doing rental properties, bro, for a minute, man. I've been doing it for years, man. Probably like 6 years, 7 years now. Really more than that, but I only had to evict one person, and of course, he looked like us. Well, really 2 people, but before I actually had to go to court, he ended up leaving, but I still had to file a process. So, but brothers don't know that, Jackson, whether he do or not. They don't know that. They just not doing nothing.
All right, this for you right here, Dree.
Uh-oh. Vinny Hustle, King.
Get next.
Coming in.
Get next.
Hey, you can get at me all you want to, but when you do that, make sure you get out them 350 blacks that killed 350 blacks first. Then we can talk, bro. Shout out to Vinny Hustle.
But I can say something, and I can say something to counteract that. If you look at the statistics, last time I checked, it was a while since I checked. But last time I checked, I believe, and I could be a little off, so don't quote me directly, but white on white crime is only about 3 to 4% off than black on black crime. But the reason that's important is because you got to think everything that black people have to deal with when it comes to killing each other. We dealing with poverty, we dealing with limited resources, we dealing with lack of education, we dealing with so many things that white people pretty much got the same white on white crime statistics. So any country you go to, anywhere in the world, actually, people are going to kill more of their own people. So that kind of counteracts that argument a little bit. Whatever race it is, people going to kill their own people. White people kill more white people than anybody. Black people going to kill black people more than anybody. I'm sure it's like that in every country. Except we got white police helping them out in America. That's the issue.
All right. That's what's up. But the thing about it is, man, it's like, yeah, man, we do got to start policing our communities and stepping up, man, and trying to do better, man, because just like you said, it's the same amount, but hell, they outnumber us 18-1. So we commit the same amount of crime. That's crazy.
I don't believe them stats either, though. I believe that's propaganda, to be honest. Like, I don't believe that. I never felt like it was that. Like, I don't know. Because there's a lot of stuff that they don't count when they do on statistics. They don't count a lot of people. I just think they're doing that as a scare tactic and propaganda. But I don't know. But once we change subject, I do got another question, though. I do.
So this nigga got all the data.
Trying to.
So what we gonna do with all this black on black, man, Dree?
Just continue to watch the news and watch, hopefully, black on black. You know, I hope so. Hopefully somebody wake up. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I'm working on getting that visa, so I don't have to.
Facts.
You know, if somebody do die, you know, it's somebody that I could look at the news and somebody died, and it don't look like me. I could rest a little easier. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's nothing I could do. You know, all I could do is not kill my motherfucking self. That's all. That's about all I could do. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
real though. That's real. That's real.
You know, I mean, my thing is, I don't, you know, I don't get these concepts anymore about what is a real nigga and all this here. You know, because you know, to me, you know, the real niggas are coons. You know what I'm saying?
Word. You said real niggas.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly. Explain what it is then.
So real, you
You know what
saying
I'm
the real
saying?
niggas that say they real niggas in the streets are coon because they killing each other. That's what you saying, my brother?
You know, I'm saying they are coons because as much as they are so black this and black that, they benefit the people that they supposedly hate.
Okay. Yeah, man. So you think if the Trayvon case would have happened in another country like Colombia, then they would have got George Zimmerman?
Me?
Uh,
Oh,
they did. Look, I know in 7 years, however long it's been since that man got killed, they'd have been did something to Jill Simmons, whether it was in the house or in the streets or in the jailhouse. They would have did that man something by now. You around this bitch killing kids, man. Yeah, they'd have been did
facts,
something to that man by now.
facts, facts, facts.
So
You know what I'm
y'all,
saying?
I seen somebody on YouTube the other day. They were saying that they firmly believe he beat George Zimmerman up, and he put a hole in the back of his head, and he had to use that gun to kill him. He's a hero. That's what the guy was saying.
I
I was
mean, if
like,
you getting
man,
beat up by a kid, I mean, you get. I mean, I'm not no big guy, but I done fought younger dudes that try to manhandle me. And when you a certain age, you just have what's called, for those of y'all don't know, grown man strength. You know what I'm saying? If you get beat up by a kid, bro, and to the point where you gotta pull a gun on a kid, it's like, yo, come on, like for cutting through your yard or something like that. Like,
wasn't
see,
even his yard.
but see, to be honest with you, 100% honest with you, I don't even watch the news at all because I don't even want that energy. Like when I see stuff like that, I usually don't even speak on it because when I think about the history and racism and all that, bro, it's too much. And I may sound like a quitter, but personally, man, I just rather live outside the US, make my money outside, make my money from the US and internationally, because man, I looked at a stat the other day. Matter of fact, um, I forgot the name of the YouTube, man. It's I'm gonna try to. Can you send me the link here? Link Rich, so I can add it in the YouTube chat. I looked at some stats today from a CNN documentary, and it was devastating. Out of every dollar, African Americans own 6 cents. Yeah.
God damn.
The average college graduate that's African American makes 32 grand a year, right? That's not even counting the student loan debt, okay? The average non-college graduate that's white makes 80 grand, bro. That's more than double than what you make without a degree. And matter of fact, this is something I want to address while I'm on my soapbox.
Man, you got all the data, bro.
I
Somebody
think,
said that.
I mean, this is what I do. I think that as African Americans, I think we have to stop knocking each other for maybe working harder than somebody else, because we got to understand that's not the real game. We have been convinced that that's the game. That's not the real game, man. The real game is passive income and making money without working. That's the real game. Like, yeah, man, I worked on this job 30, 40 years and I think I'm better than this person, is that person. It's like, I feel you, but I'm trying to make the amount of money you got without working for 40 years. I think a lot of brothers, man, if you can start looking at, just Google this online, Google passive income streams, man. I'm telling you, you can focus on everything else. I get it, sports, whatever. But when you got that extra time, start looking at passive income streams, man, because I'm telling you.
There you go, Drees. Got a question for you. B Dot, you there?
Shit,
Go ahead, Drees.
I mean, the thing about it is the man something should have been happened to the man, like the boy who shot up the church, you know. And I don't know if he live or he dead right now, Dylan Roof. I think all he got was somebody in the jail stole on him.
I'm
But
about to
that's
say
all I heard.
he where I live at. He where I live at. We tore the city up, bro. We tore the whole state up. He from that happened in South Carolina. We tore the whole
Nah,
state.
come on. I'm gonna correct your ass on this travel data. They was all kumbaya after that shit, man. Don't even go
Who?
that route.
Who?
The whole city of Charleston. They was like, we shall over. Come on, bro. Come on,
Bro,
bro. Come
bro,
on now.
bro. I
I'm gonna
got
call you out on that one.
oh listen. I went to one of them. And when I got footage from being down there, because you gotta remember I came from media, bro. It was the whole Black Panther Party came to South Carolina during that. Of course, the news is gonna show you people trying to be kumbaya, but bro, any white people that did anything racist during that whole period was getting towed up, bro. I'm telling you, like
Bullshit, man.
I got
I got too
footage of
much
it.
family down there, man. Bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit.
All right,
Man,
call
they
it,
ain't do jack. They couldn't really do nothing. They
but
already
that's not
captured the
true.
boy.
That's
They
not
already
true.
captured him. What was
Soon
they
as he
gonna
got
do?
locked up, you just said it. Like, what are you talking about? Soon as he got locked up, they did him dirty, and what did they do? They put him in protective custody. Come on, bro.
But you
You gotta spit
said they
facts.
tore up some shit down there. And
Well,
now
they told
they
his
ain't do
ass,
shit. Come
bro.
on,
Do
bro.
you know how many? Google this. I mean, we can laugh, but I'm spitting facts. I'm spitting facts.
Go
Google
ahead.
how many people got locked up when that whole thing happened about the flag. Them trying to take the flag down. I lived there, bro. Like
Down
I'm
the
from there.
flag, I agree with you. But
But
not
that
the
was a
Dylan
part.
Roof case.
I mean, whether you agree or not, I'm telling you because I was there. Like, bro, I'm gonna add the link
That's a
in.
whole different time though, when
No,
they
it's not.
protested the flag.
It was because of that. I'm telling you. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you because they kill him. Everybody was like, "Yo, you need to take that flag down, or it's gonna be drama." So you know what started happening all around South Carolina, and you can Google this. People started defacing statues. People started destroying statues of that racist stuff. People started spray painting over stuff. Like, yo, I'm telling you, real stuff. People
That was
started
in
getting locked
Colombia.
up. Yeah, that's where I'm from. People started getting locked up. People don't know about Columbia, South Carolina, bro. It's a city ran by gangs, bro. Straight up, like gangs, straight up. Nobody's coming in. I'm being 100 with you. Nobody's coming to my city with none of that, bro. Like people was tearing the city up, bro. Like, and you can Google this. People was defacing statues. This videos all on YouTube. Google South Carolina gang fight KKK, bro. Like that's all you got. It's thousands of videos, bro. Like
I got you.
real talk.
B-Dot,
But
what's up, man? We're gonna let B-Dot chime in, and Erwin is on too. So what's good, B-Dot?
I think he gone.
Chime in with us, Ern. I see you riding out there. You in Florida? You letting that shit
Yeah.
ride down there in Florida, brother?
Listen, by the way, shout out to everybody on the panel. How y'all doing?
What up?
What's that, bro?
With the whole thing with the lawsuit, I don't really know the details or the specifics of why Zimmerman is suing the family, but
Well, I can
honestly,
break it down to you.
I
He was saying that
yeah,
they
break it down
planted
to me.
evidence. They planted evidence against him to try to convict him.
So the family planted evidence, or the attorney of
Fam-
the family?
the family and the district attorney, they work together, but he's suing the family. He might
Okay.
be suing the district too. I'm not sure. I think he is. He's
So
suing all of them.
I mean, if he believes that, that's the, and that's if he believes that and he's pursuing that, then I mean, it's just on him and his attorney to prove it. I can't say it didn't happen or it did happen, but I mean, in a sense, the whole situation, I try to look at everything objectively, and it's unfortunate that that young man had to die,
Mm.
and I felt at the same time everybody could have done a better part. And I'm not blaming his family, but I've been in Florida since I left New York for a couple years after 9/11, and this is a real fucked up state, bro. I mean, you seen what just happened the other day. Police killed the UPS driver, in the damn UPS truck.
Oh, they killed
So
them?
yeah, they killed the driver. It was a Hispanic dude.
Oh, I thought the
So
robbers killed him.
nah, from everything I'm reading, I think it was like the police killed him.
Damn, bro.
So
That's fucked up.
I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody please post it and correct me. But from stuff that I've been reading, I believe they were saying it was shots that came from the police guns that killed them. But Florida's a fucked up state, bro. And I'm gonna just tell you my opinion, and I could be wrong. All right, Zimmerman was definitely out of line, out of character. He's not law enforcement. I understand his role as neighborhood watch, and did he overstep? I don't know. The person on the line when he was speaking to law enforcement advised him, not to pursue Trayvon, and he took it upon his own initiative to pursue. Now that's a judgment call on his end and how the law handles that. But in my opinion, right, and I'm not saying the media didn't help to shape my opinion, but when they broke down the history of Trayvon and his pictures and him being aggressive and violent, it's a bad look on him. Now, whatever took place that night is only between Zimmerman and Trayvon. Nobody really knows. But with the young African Americans that I see in this country, not just in Florida, but the ones that are young and want to test authority, especially if you're not a police officer, it's not completely out of line to believe that Trayvon was aggressive towards Zimmerman. Now, did he have to get shot?
Must be going through a tunnel or something.
It's a fight, but I can't call it. It's a sad situation.
So you saying that because he had a checkered past, then it's a good chance that he started the fight because of his past.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying he started the fight. What I'm saying is, any type of crime that's committed or offense that's committed, especially if you're a young not even young, especially if you're an African American male, they're gonna pull up your rap sheet. They don't give a fuck if they gotta go back all the way to daycare when you stole a nigga's crayon. They're going to pull. So when they present that type of evidence in his history of him smoking or him on video cursing or him being aggressive or getting to fights in school, now he's aggressive. Like Zimmerman didn't say he was aggressive because he had the kid's background report. He said that shit on the night of the actual incident. Do you see what I'm saying? So there comes a point where we have to look at reality, and we have to know how to balance our emotions and how we feel, and what we've all been through and suffered as. And act with somebody who's not law enforcement. It would be different if Zimmerman was a cop and he had a badge and he's like, yeah, this nigga was aggressive. But I mean, like, I'm thinking of myself. If I'm in the neighborhood and you a white dude, you pull up and like, hey, what you doing? I'm like, yo, I apologize, officer. I ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? What do you need from me? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, so it's not far-fetched to believe that this young man might have been aggressive. I mean, now, as a 30-year-old man.
But if you was 17 years old, would you have, approached that situation like that? That's what you got to think about.
Let me tell you this, real shit, Rich, and I ain't even gonna lie to you. If I was 17 years old, I would have been dead too. And I'm just being 100% real with you.
Right.
Because you're not a cop. You approaching me, I'm gonna swing on you, bro. Now, the moment you pull out the firearm, that's gonna be something different. But if I don't see no firearm, I'm swinging on you, bro. It's at night. I'm in Florida. It's raining. You getting fucked up.
And you following the guy. And you following the guy's following you.
Yeah, and the guy following me. I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, you know what I'm saying? What happened to Trayvon? With the same shit would have happened to me. I'm just being honest with you. But at the same time, I think it's also, like, hear me clearly, because I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not putting anybody at fault or speaking about the parents. I think this is a good educational lesson. It's sad that we had to learn like this, but it's a good educational lesson for anybody who is a parent on teaching your children how to carry themselves or how to approach a certain situation when you feel like something like this is going on, when you're being oppressed, regardless of it being law officer, or officer of the law, or a regular civilian. Because in Florida, every one of these fucking crackers is packing, bro. And that's real shit. Everybody out here is carrying a burner. Like, and it's not a problem for these niggas to pull it out and shoot you, especially if you a black male. Right. And that's really the facts, bro. Like, that's really the facts.
Let me try to get beat out of here. Let me try to get beat out, man. You think his past should affect his case, man?
I mean, me personally, I don't think it should. But you know how it is, man. I mean, when both them John got jammed up and the lady went in his shit, you know, he in there eating ice cream. Everybody's talking about he had some weed in the apartment. What the fuck that got to do with somebody busting up in his shit and shooting him when he eats some ice cream? You know what I mean? But you know, and everybody kept telling this dude, don't follow him, and he did it anyway. He ignored what they were telling him to do. So I mean, yes, you can bring up anybody's past. You can bring up character witnesses and say, yeah, 2 years ago he swung on me in school or whatever the case may be. But you know, yes, and of course he didn't have his rap sheet, but of course he's gonna say he was aggressive if he shoots him. You know what I mean? If I get into it with an old lady and I shoot her, I'm gonna say, yeah, the old lady tried to run me over with a little motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? You always gonna say that. You know what I mean? You're never gonna want to say, yeah, I went up to him and I walked up on him and I shot the fuck out of him. You're not gonna say that. You know what I mean? So of course he's gonna say that he was aggressive. And when they bring up his past and stuff like that, yes, they could use that against him. You know what I mean? But this is a dead man. He can't talk. Dead man can't talk. So
that's right.
You know what I mean? And all he was doing was just walking home.
Yeah. I listen, I agree with B Dot completely. That's why I'm the first to say only those two knew what happened that night. You see what I'm saying? Everybody else is, you know, we gotta think about it logically and try not to let emotions get into it. You see what I'm saying? But only those two know what happened that night. And one of them is gone, unfortunately. So he can't testify.
So, Drees, you think that man past should play a part, man? Or what you think, man? You think Trayvon was the aggressive one?
Are you talking to me?
Drees.
Oh.
Hey, unmute yourself, Drees.
My bad. The man said don't follow the man. And from the looks of it, it seems like he followed the man. So I can't say Trayvon was the aggressor. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I see anybody that look like a security guard or anything, I'm trying to go in the other direction anyway. So that man went on and followed that man and probably walked up on Trayvon. Trayvon realized he wasn't no cop and no rent-a-cop. He put on it. So to me, Zimmerman was the aggressor.
Right.
Yeah. You know, if I was to rent a cop and I'm chasing behind this little kid and he swing on me, I'm gonna shoot you in the leg. I just want to make sure you quit swinging on me. I ain't trying to kill you.
The shooter, though, I mean, he was 17. Like, the fact that he beat this, I mean, man, this whole subject is a downer, man. It's just, we gotta just get out, man. That's all I can say. That's why I keep saying passive income, fellas. We just gotta get out.
So you saying the solution is for all the black people to move out of America?
Believe it or not, that's what the original plan was. The original plan was for, because you got to think, even if in America, you almost got to be an individualist. Like I was telling you the stats earlier, out of every dollar, we only own 6%. Out of the millionaires, we own less than 1% of the wealth. There are only 1.7% of African American millionaires. What's progress like? Because like, and I said this before in the group, because we got hot water and some of us have mortgages, like, or own homes, and it's like, but you don't pay. South Carolina, you don't pay your house tax for a year and a half, almost 2 years. They take your house back. So it's like, I mean, it's man. That's why every time I hear more and more stuff that's happening in the United States, protests and all in Colombia. Exactly, man. I was watching a documentary today. Actually, I didn't put it in our tribe group. I put it in another tribe group. Somebody put a excerpt from Hidden Colors. Of course, I've seen it. Exactly, Roderick. Like, this is, man, I don't even want to get too deep, man. It's because I don't want to make it this type of show, but it's like, man, I know it's difficult because everybody's situation is different, but for the fellas that can still leave, like Drees and stuff like that, when you don't have certain things holding you down, like, man, if you can get out, bro, sometimes you just gotta just take the risk, man, and worry about everything later, man. Because it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna stay 3 or 4 more years. For what though? Like, what are you really missing? Because this job is paying you just enough to pay your rent and whatever. Because I know I was making pretty good money when I was living in Atlanta, but I was still caught up in the sauce. So I really wasn't making nothing.
So, question for you, Terry. You was in Colombia the other day when they had all the protests and everything.
Yeah.
Now, you were saying, man, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Man.
Cali, yes. And I left. I'm in Barranquilla now.
But what if that shit happened in Barranquilla? You don't think them the same people, bro?
Then I'm gonna have to leave. I mean, for me, but I mean, it's the truth. I mean, so that's like something happening in LA and then I'm moving all the way, bro. This is like 15 hours, something like 15 hours away from Cali, bro. Like, that's like something happening in LA and then I'm moving all the way to like Nebraska or something. It's like them are totally 2 different states. You know what I'm saying? So, and when they protest in Barranquilla, it's way different than a protest in Cali, bro. It's like dudes in LA, when they protested, in Chicago, when they protest, it's a lot different than it would be where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really protest where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? We don't react, but KKK, we tearing their ass up.
Trayvon Martin, do you think?
Oh, I'm doing it. You know, they had a brother in the chat room. I had to put him on timeout.
This brother here, Faith Walker.
Nah.
Oh, hybrid.
Yeah. Put him on timeout. He talking crazy. But that's on him. We'll see him in about 300 seconds. He come back talking crazy again. We won't see him no more. I hope he not subscribed to you. You know what I'm saying? But they should have never lied. I don't know what they lied about, so I really can't go in on that one there. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this. Whenever somebody's child dies, that mom is always saying some kind of crazy shit. Y'all ever notice that? Trying to benefit off. Huh?
What did the mom say?
I don't know what that mom said, but I'm saying I'm talking about somebody else somebody kid got killed in Virginia, and she was like, won't you help her? Won't you help this boy's single mom get a new house? And I'm like, wait a minute, you supposed to be raising money for the funeral or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't know, man. We trying to benefit a little bit too hard off of death, though. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I gotta read up on the whole Trayvon Martin's mom thing to find out what they were talking about as far as them lying. But from what I'm understanding, they tried to set the man Joe Zimmerman up some kind of way. So I gotta find out exactly what the setup is. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really see no setup. I just see Joe Zimmerman still walking around. If I was Joe Zimmerman, I'd be way in California. I'd be way on the other side of the country, other side of the planet, especially if I didn't kill somebody and let me go free. Shit, ain't no way I'd be in fucking Florida right now.
It's like he want to be famous or something.
Well, he'd kill the right person with some body kinfolk. He would be famous right now. He'd be sleep too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or not. Because now I do get it. When you hot, you hot. But I'm saying, you know, at least, like I said, let me bring SC back up. We at least gave the boy Dylan Rue. We at least lumped him up a little bit. I mean, y'all got to do, y'all just letting this dude Zimmerman just something like spray. I mean, I ain't gonna say that, but I mean, man, this man just walking around like it's cool. Like, y'all, I'm good. I don't know, man.
I don't think he really just walking around though. You keep saying that, but maybe if you, I don't know, man. I just can't see it, man. If you're in certain areas of the country, like if you're in certain areas and it's only people that look like you, maybe you can walk around there, but I don't know. I don't think he just walk around the hood like, give me a new quote. You know,
okay.
5 on 2.
I get it.
I ain't doing that shit.
I get
Shout out
it.
to OW, man. Salute to the panel, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, salute to you, my brother. Stay working out in that gym. I see you, brother. Looking like what that pastor name?
Huh?
Let me stop.
Oh man.
But Rich, you know something. This is, and I don't know how people are gonna feel about this, but I don't think like the solution is leaving, because I mean technically we're oppressed everywhere, and you can just tell it from the television that you're watching. When you go to Brazil, they don't like to show you African Brazilians. You go to Colombia, they don't like to show you, African Colombians.
Right.
Like oppression for our people and colorism is everywhere. There's really no place that you can go where I think you're not going to be oppressed, because that racial division is pretty much everywhere. And not only that, not only is it everywhere amongst other races, but when we're speaking about our people solely, like only black people, that shit is subliminally in us and like unconsciously in us without even knowing it, to the point where, you got niggas that hate on me for my complexion, or niggas that hate on you for your complexion, or even though we're of the same race. You see what I'm saying? Like it's, I think not just the external races, but our race in itself. Like you talk about like police our community, the majority of our people don't even want to be in our community. We want to leave and go to the suburbs. We want to be where the other races are, because to a certain degree, our men, our women, they want to be accepted by the other races and be like the other races. So I don't really think that leaving is the solution. I don't want to say it's not an option. If you might encounter less racism in another country, I look at it like moving to a different neighborhood. It's a little safer, but the danger is not eliminated. You see what I'm saying? And if more black people start leaving the U.S. and let's say moving to Colombia or moving to other countries, like what do you think is going to happen there when the majority of a certain neighborhood or certain area, the demographic becomes more African American or Afro-Colombian? Or what do you think is going to happen? We're going to be bringing the problems over there with us and experiencing the same shit.
That's not true, brother. That's just not true.
I don't know, man. Like,
it's not true.
Like,
it's just
like
not true.
What do you think would happen if 5 million African Americans just started moving to the city of Medellin?
Well, but it's not. But number one, it's never gonna be like that. I mean, people will spread out. But the reason I'm saying that's not true is because one thing we always get mixed up for some reason. We have one privilege, being African Americans, and it's the American, even though we technically built our own privilege. If you want to think about it. Our privilege is only exemplified and value when we leave America. It's almost like how I'm watching this Wu-Tang series right now. I love it. It's almost like when you're like you're trying to rap, just like the Wu-Tang series. Man, that's Terrence, that's Drees, that's Rich, man. But then when you rap to other people, they like, wow, like that's Drees, that's Rich, that's traveling. You always gonna feel like that, and wherever you're at. And the reason I gotta disagree with you, because you gotta understand, racism is a system. That means that when people come to the United States, it don't matter what country you're from. If you look a certain way, you will experience racism. But here in Colombia, I don't experience racism, bro. You know what I'm saying? It may be Gringo-ism. It may be, which I'm not even bringing that in my energy anyway, but it's just different, man. It's just different, bro. Like, I feel what you're saying, but what else is there? Because I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to stay in the U.S. and do what? Be in debt. Even if I get a good job or whatever, is that going to change the racism? Or is it just going to improve my individual situation? But if you come to these countries like this, and I'm sure you're a traveler, you've been around, I'm sure, have you experienced racism? Racism, it's a system now. It's not prejudice. That's different. Racism is a system. Here, I don't experience that, man. I mean, I just don't. When I go into a place, go ahead.
Here's my thing. You don't okay. You make a good point, but here's my thing. You don't experience it. Why? Like you're not an underprivileged resident minority living in that country. You are an American citizen who has the American dollars that can convert and live in that country. But what happens if we ask the Afro-Colombians that live in Comuna 13 or in other parts or in Buenaventura? Can those people honestly say that they don't feel racism in that country? They don't feel oppressed by the lightest skin or the white race? Or the
I just answered that question for you. I just answered that. I started my whole thing with that, brother. That's where we finally get to use our privilege. You said African Americans. You didn't say that, and that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about African American. Wait. That's what we're talking about. African Americans. We're not talking about Brazilian Africans. None of that. We're talking about us. We're talking about us leaving the United States. When we leave the United States, dollar in hand or whatever it is, because a lot of brothers, especially in these traveling groups, they doing well for themselves. They own property. They do different things. Whatever it is. So all I'm saying is, at least think about it. I guess that'd be better. At least think about.
I get what you're saying. What you're saying is, I get what you're saying. What you're saying is, it's not saying racism is going to stop. You're saying that because of our status and us being American, we're not going to experience it overseas. That's what you're saying.
Venezuelans get treated. Venezuelans are experiencing racism in Colombia.
So those are the same people that might discriminate against you, bro.
But here's the thing: I wouldn't even say they're experiencing racism, because if you want to look at the white Colombians and the white Venezuelans, they are the same race. They're not a different race. They might be experiencing some type of prejudice due to nationality, but a white Venezuelan and a white Colombian is white. They're not experiencing any racism.
Me neither. That's the same point that I'm making to you. We're agreeing with each other at this point. And Domain says something great. That's classism. The Bizzle, I don't know if you trolling or you being for real, but me and Erwin are agreeing with each other. Erwin, you sound like a very, very, very educated brother, man. Appreciate the banner, but I'm just saying that I'm agreeing with you. When we leave America, people can say whatever they want to say. Oh, you got money or whatever, but women love me. You know what I'm saying? When I go to places, they know that I'm not from around here. The men around here, not all of them, not the taxi drivers, but the men try to help you. They know you don't speak the language. Like, in a racist society, they're doing everything but trying to help you. Now, I'm not saying I've never been by a person that's been maybe a white person, because I don't consider myself racist. I can't be racist. Like, only white people can be racist. I mean, I can be prejudiced, but racism is a system.
No, like, I think I'm racist.
That's a bro. Racism is a system, brother. It's a system.
I
You
I
can't be
disagree.
racist.
I
It's not
disagree
what you
because
disagree with. It's race. That's the definition. Like racism is a. You might be prejudiced, but
no,
racism is.
because being a racist, okay, is you feeling, believing, or thinking that your race is better or superior than other races. There's nothing wrong with being a racist. It's the same
Okay.
thing. Like I could say I think Haitian is better than everything else in the world. That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean it's something negative. But the difference is when you are a racist and you're racist and you being a racist have you institute some type of system like what you're saying where
Racism.
the system where the system allows you to oppress people. But what I'm telling you is you can still be a racist and not be oppressing people. So you're not practicing that art of racism that you're saying, but you can still be a racist. Like I think black people are better than every other race in the world. Like I think we are physically superior and genetically superior. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm not going to treat somebody different because they're a different race. I'm not going to say you can't eat here or you can't buy this or because you're this, you know, your interest rate is this. I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to tell you, yeah, I think I'm better than you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to practice that. And I think
So
racism is the practicing of
okay.
it.
So using that definition that you said, you being racist, how does that affect a white person in the United States though?
It doesn't
So
affect the white person in the United
you come
States.
to Colombia and somebody is racist, and I'm saying I'm look just like you, and I'm not experiencing racism. That's not a system. That's just that individual person being racist. But you gotta understand, in the United States, it's an entire system. So all I'm saying is, if you can leave the United States and go experience a system that's not totally dependent upon oppressing specifically your race of people, I would do that. That's all I'm saying. These are like
No,
right now
I
in
get it.
Colombia, their entire infrastructure is not based on oppressing dark-skinned people. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? Now you have places where it's more dark-skinned people that live, but they have their own societies. Let's certain Drees,
Well,
you
look,
know, there's certain place that you
let
go in
me
Colombia and it's nothing but dark-skinned people. So it's just they have a lack of, but it's not
so let me
actually
ask you
them
this.
being physically, it's not them actually physically being, and a lot of these people, they don't even understand what racism is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like a chick told me, she said, yeah, when I was in Cali, she said, yeah, they racist here. And she said, well, they ain't gonna be racist against you because once you speak, they're gonna hear you American. Then that's not racism. When you come to the United States, it don't matter if you a dark-skinned Venezuelan, if you a dark-skinned whatever you from. When you come in, you have a dark skin, you are going to be treated a certain way. That's all I'm saying. But once we come
So
in and they hear we American or see our style, I don't even know if D Bizzle trolling or not, man. But I'm just saying
well,
I have not experienced. And if one person treat me a certain way, that's not racism because racism is a system. That's what I'm saying. It's a system, man. That's all I'm saying. Like racism literally stops us from doing things in the United States. We literally get pulled over by the police 7 times. We're more likely to get pulled over 7 times more than somebody that's white. And they said the white
huh?
person is most likely breaking the law times 3 compared to when we get pulled over. So it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. You got some people that's gonna tell people to just not saying you saying this, but you got
Hmm.
people that's gonna say stay in America, fight it out. I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna do just like what they did when they discovered America, my G. They left Europe and created their own thing. That's all I'm
Hmm.
doing. Like, I don't want, like, if I'm working at one job and one job, like me and you working together, Drees and Irwin, right?
Hmm.
All y'all get hired, and I get hired, and they paying y'all 160 and they paying me 90. And I'm like, yo, F this. I quit that job, go find a better job that pay me 160, which y'all getting paid. I don't understand what's the problem with that. So instead of me staying in the United States, busting my butt to make 6, 7 figures just to live some type of life, when I can make what? Really, you can live in Colombia off of what, $1,000 a month. When I can make 15 grand a year and still live a comfortable life where I'm not working 50, 60 hours a week like I was and in debt and all that. It's like, y'all can have all of that. But if y'all want to experience something different, I say, brothers, if you can experience living in another country, man. And I want to hear what you got to say, Grease, because you was talking about leaving as well, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's just something for me. It ain't nothing that's gonna solve shit. Shit's still gonna be here. You know what I mean? Stupid motherfuckers still gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? My thing is for my sanity, you know, leave the crazy shit alone at least. You know what I mean? But my thing is whether you go or whether you stay, shit's still gonna be here. You know, I mean, I'm just speaking on it from my sanity part of it. You know, from what I feel I might need to do to keep me from being the next motherfucker to kill somebody.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Well, there you have it then.
No, I agree.
What
You
you
know,
think,
mean,
because my goal is to leave.
Man, there's racism in every country, bro. In every
I can
country
agree
in the world, man. No matter where you go,
because
man. The darker people are always outcast as negative in people's mind. Go ahead, Drake.
because we got the same disconnect in every country. I mean, I was called a nigger in Brazil. I was called a baboon in Colombia. You know, but this was after I'd done my thing and went on about my business, of course. But racism exists. You know,
Well, y'all are saying. So how did that affect what you was doing, Drees? How did somebody calling you a baboon affect anything you was trying to do? That's all I'm asking.
well, pretty much it didn't affect me because after when that was said, I had done what I had to do.
That's all I'm saying. That racism is a system. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm
So
saying.
as far as the systems are concerned, I can't tell you where to go to school. I can't tell you. I don't have no jails to tell you. Okay, you got to go to sleep here. You got to work here. I can't do none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask
Racism.
you. I got a question for Data, right? So okay, racism is a system. So I'm not disagreeing with you on that. It's an establishment by people who feel that their race is superior than other races. So due to that, they oppress those races. So I'm with you on that with the system part of it. So now within my travels, right, and I haven't been to a lot of places, but with things that I've seen, and that I've observed, I've clearly noticed in every country that I've been to a separation in the demographic of living areas and conditions with what you want to call black people or white people, whether it's in Dominican Republic, Colombia, Haiti, Mexico, numerous countries. So why do you think that is?
All right, so so now I understand what's going on. We talking about two different things. What you're saying right now, I don't know the answer. So let me just answer that question. I don't know the answer. But what I'm saying is that racism that y'all are speaking of does not affect any of us. When we come to these countries, and I'm sure everybody has been in these situations, when we come to these countries, do you feel safer here or do you feel safer in the United States as an African American male? I'm gonna speak for myself. Here, when the police pass, they just passing by. In the United States, when I'm walking in the streets, I'm always worried I'm gonna get pulled over. I'm always worried something gonna happen because I keep some on me legally, you know what I'm saying? And I got a little tipper, so I don't know anything can happen with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not finna just do what you say just because you're a police. That ain't how I move. But that's why I say thank God I haven't been in that situation. Well, I have been in that one time, but I ain't even gonna get into that. But all I'm saying is, how does that affect you though, as an African American? Because that's originally what we're talking about. African Americans leaving the United States. How does that affect you? Even if things are going on around here, I get all of that. But it feels the opposite. If you even have a rich person in the United States, they will still do certain things to let that rich African American know you have no power here, you have no influence here. Now, when you have money around these parts and you move a certain way, they treat you with a certain level of respect. But in the United States, bro, the system is still constantly hovering over you, letting you know, like, bro, We'll take this from you at any time, destroy your life, destroy your credibility, and next thing you know, you spending your old age in prison somewhere. I just don't see that happening outside of the United States. I just don't see that happening.
All right, travel that. I'm gonna give you a story. This is in the DR. We know DR is a whole different animal.
Okay.
It's a white guy that got married down there. I don't know if y'all read about this, but so he got married. They had the wedding and all this. So I guess it was a line for food or something like that. So some guys got into fighting. Obviously, it was some local guys. Had nothing to do with the wedding, right? So they end up bumping into his wife and knocking her down. So he came to a rescue, like pick her up and, kind of grab the guys. Hey, man, what are y'all doing? Long story short, the cops came, arrested him and like his son. I think it was his son or his nephew or somebody, like an 18-year-old. They've been arrested for 6 months in the DR, and these are white people. In the DR, they've been holding them for 6 months. So my question to you is, how much freedom do you really have in these foreign countries? And I heard you mention earlier about protecting yourself. Are you able to get firearms in these countries?
Yes, you can. In Colombia, and B-Dot maybe be able to answer that better than me. But I did the research. I read the law. You can't have a firearm here. Only thing is, from what I've read, you can only have it in your home. And it's like that in the United States. Certain states, you can't even have a firearm. Let's get that straight. Certain states in the United States, you can't even have a firearm. New York is one of them, unless they just changed the law. But
right.
now
let's get back to the other question then.
What?
Do you think if you get in some sort of trouble and you have to go to court in one of these foreign countries, do you think you're going to get a fair trial?
Now this is according to locked up abroad, because I've never been locked up abroad. Thank God, never, and I never will. I always will be free.
But that's something you got to think about, man. When you're saying you're leaving America and you want to be free in these other countries,
but
you got to think about the good and the bad.
What is the difference? I
the
don't know.
The difference is this man wasn't even fighting, and he got arrested.
Are you serious right now, or are you trolling me? So you try to act like African Americans don't get locked up all the time for shit that they don't do in the United States, like all the time, like
not majority of the time. I think majority of the times, the laws are set up for majority of the black and poor community to get arrested. I mean, the laws are set up like that, and I don't think a lot of these guys are innocent. I think a lot of these guys are breaking the law on simple ass shit, and they're getting arrested. They're getting these backgrounds. They're getting felonies on stuff like marijuana, and now they're changing some of the law. But they are arresting some of these guys with simple ass charges and making them bigger than they are. You know what I'm saying? But my question to you is, do you really think they're going to treat you fairly if you go in the court of law in Colombia? Do you really think they're going to treat you fairly?
I don't think they're going to treat me fairly in the United States either. And the reason, if they don't treat me fairly here, it's because of the language barrier.
But you already left. Now you in Colombia.
Okay.
You think they're going to treat you fairly in Colombia?
I had a run-in with the police, if y'all all know that. And I ain't go to jail. And a chick lied on me and I ain't go to jail. Had that same situation, and you know the story. Had that same situation happened when a chick lied on me in the United States, I would at least went to jail, and y'all know that. All a chick in the United States got to do is say you did something. Luckily, I was able to pay what I needed to pay because the chick made up a lie about me in Cartagena. I already told the story. I ain't going to say it again. For those that know, y'all know. But in the United States, you know this. If the police is called in the United States and a woman's calling it, 9 times out of 10, somebody's at least getting arrested. At least getting arrested. Like, I ain't saying charge and all that, but man, it is I'm just saying to act like I don't know. Because I didn't had a lot of.
He's in Colombia a lot. Do you think you will get a fair trial if you find yourself in a situation in Colombia?
In Colombia, if it actually goes to a trial,
yeah.
I can't
against the
say. I mean,
Colombian.
I can't say 100% either
Violent
way.
crime.
But
Exactly. Same
but
answer be that.
but you more than likely probably gonna be detained and you're not gonna have the same luxuries if you as you have in the States.
Facts.
Um, everybody that goes to jail in the United States don't get. It's not you know in these conditions that are in these conditions overseas, and especially in South America, like Dominican Republic and Colombia. They don't. I mean, you don't get no food. You ain't getting no phone call. You ain't getting no help. Nothing like that. You can't nobody put no money on your books and all of those shit. You can't get no cigarettes, none of those shit. You know what I mean? You got to fight for what you know what I mean? You got to fight for what you can fight for. But yeah, if it goes to a court and if it's something that's serious, because my 9 times out of 10, a lot of times in these foreign countries as well as DR, you can pay your way out of something. If something go down and it's something small, you get a traffic ticket or you don't have a seatbelt on. The police is like, man, we'll let you go, but you know what I'm saying? You give them $2-3 and you rolling out. In America, you got a ticket, but I don't think that has anything to do with your race or anything like that. It's like it's just about money. But I don't think that like I said, if it's something super serious, like if you murdered someone or something like that, then
Self-defense.
you might not get a fair trial. You just might not. If American go over there and kill a Colombian or a Venezuelan or Dominican, and I mean, you it's pretty much a wrap. You better call Trump. Try to get him to come get you out of that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Whew. Faith Walker scaring me right now. Exactly. If you ever seen Locked Up Abroad, traveling is just, that's why I don't, man, if anybody that does drugs, just do not do them when you're traveling, man. Please. Because if you get caught, man, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. But that's gonna happen anywhere.
I've known guys who's gotten caught up with drugs. I actually, as a matter of fact, here recently, there's a guy who I know that got caught up with some drugs in Dominican Republic, and he had some in his trunk. He had some marijuana, and he had some CBD type shit that he brought from America, and he kind of paid his way out of it. But each situation.
Are you talking about the YouTuber dude?
I didn't hear you.
You talking about the YouTuber guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I seen that video. Yeah, I seen that the other day.
Yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, so like I said, it's just a case by case basis.
Exactly.
You know him?
Yeah,
All right, we're gonna chop it up.
It's just a case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, my thing is this: if you like, it's kind of like what everybody say. If you're going over there, don't even try to get into that situation. You know what I mean? Just go over there, have your fun, do your thing, keep your nose clean, and have fun, and that's it. You know what I mean? Don't get caught up in no extra stuff. Because I've had friends of mine go to Colombia. Man, where the coke at? What is it? Where I got? Dude, don't do that stuff, man. Don't do it.
But I do.
What you think? Go ahead.
I do think if you got money though, regardless of what country you're in, you got better odds though. Whether you're a citizen or a foreigner.
You think you got better odds in foreign country?
Yeah, I mean,
these are facts.
I mean,
I think you got better odds if you doing business with the police. Once they cheat in the court.
I mean, even when you get to court, you know what I mean, and you got your attorney. If, like I said, if you got the money, I think you got better odds versus being a broke American going through the court system in another country. I think that's everywhere, though.
Okay, what you think, Dre?
I think if you're not from that country and you go to jail, you're screwed. Because when I was in my ordeal in Dominican Republic, the people told me, hey, look, you give me $100 or I could bring you to the jailhouse until your people find you. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, at that particular point in time, my people didn't even know I was there yet. Whew. So I would have been screwed. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's real though. I feel you. It's real, man.
Hey man, this guy, man, you need to read this article on this white guy, man. He said, man, he's sleeping on top of feces and piss and
In Colombia?
all. Now in DR, man. And you know, in DR, man, you gotta have people bring you food. They don't really
Yeah, the
feed you in there,
same way in
man.
Colombia. Same way in Colombia. Ain't nobody, they ain't giving you no three hots and a cot and all of those weird shit. It ain't going down like that.
Sacks up, trays up. The Cab County, hey, they ain't feeding you like the Cab County. Bill Cosby.
So that's your selling point, Rich.
No, I'm just saying, like, no, what I'm saying to you is, Travel Data, I understand you want to get away from America. I understand. Totally. But I look at it as you putting a Band-Aid on the cut, but it's still some blood coming out, bro, because it's still, they got their own issues in these countries, man. You're just a visitor, man. You living there now, but I mean, you don't see, until you've been there a few years, you're not going to really see all the issues and problems they have. You know, it's like going on vacation. You go to Florida, man, Miami, the shit. When you start living down there, this shit expensive. Damn, we got some badass areas.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the United States, though. It's the same thing. It's people that have, for example, once again, South Carolina. People have no idea how Colombia is. You might have just came from the football game, but Colombia has two sides. Two sides. They got the white people side and everybody else side. Now, most people only come through on the interstate, so they don't know nothing about it. Now, when you live there, obviously you see stuff, but even people that live there never go on the other side, so they just don't know. I plan on staying in only certain neighborhoods. Like I said, I went to the hood one time since I've been here. Where my girl from, I'm never going back again, bro. It was a pole, and I put that in the chat. It was a roadblock going to that neighborhood. The police was out there waiting, and I ain't have my passport or nothing. And then, had that been in the United States and I ain't have my license or nothing, bro, most likely they would have tried to pull me out the car, and none of that happened. They were just like, oh, okay, cool, you good. Oh, you don't got your passport, it's all good. Keep it moving. That's all I'm saying.
When you have your driver's license in America, like, I mean, I understand what we saying. This and you can get shot in America, this and that, man. But last time I was locked up was like 1998, man. I have gotten traffic tickets, man. This and that, man. But I mean, I just feel like a lot of times, man, if you conduct yourself in a respectable way, man, you can walk away. You know what I'm saying? But if you conduct yourself
I'm on your side with that. I'm on your side with that, man.
Speak on that.
If you conduct yourself a certain way in America, man, I mean, you know, you have a good percentage chance that you're gonna be good. It's always a chance that you can get if you just you driving a speed limit and you squeaky clean and somebody, the police pull you over and shoot you. Okay, yeah, could it happen? Of course, but does it happen? Does it happen like that? Not, you know what I mean? You know, the news and stuff, they heighten it up, but that's not happening like every day, all day. Motherfuckers just getting shot. All people just getting shot all over the place in America.
But how do we know?
Well, how would you know in Colombia? In Colombia, motherfuckers over there getting shot and jammed up too.
Exactly.
You
I'm
know?
agreeing with you. Either way, we don't know. That's what I'm saying.
But,
Either way, we don't
but
know.
I don't think it should be like this mass exodus. Man, y'all got to get up out of here. I mean, shoot, somebody get up out of there and go. And if everybody leave and go, what they gonna do? All these motherfuckers over here on welfare. What they gonna do? Be on welfare in Africa?
Exactly. But that's why
I'm about hyenas and shit.
But that's why I'm specifically saying if you're able to do it, because like I said, people have different situations, mortgages, kids, whatever it is. But if you're able,
most people not able. How many people have a passport? Not many people got a passport.
But see, I'm talking about the people that's able though. I'm talking about the people. I mean, this is not nothing new. I forgot the brother name that said this years ago. I know you want to shout Jackie out.
Shout out to Jackie, man. I don't know who that brother is, but shout out to you, man. Make the super chat great again. Man, they forgot about the super chat, man. You know, they know this video ain't gonna get monetized. As soon as I got the gang in here, no monetization.
I had to give a donation, Rich, because I'm like, we got an
Oh,
interesting
that was
topic
you.
going
Oh,
on.
thank you, man. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
you know I'm Jackie, man. You know me, man. I'm trolling too, man. I'm like 3-4 people here, man.
Man, come on, man.
But travel that I understand in your case, if that floats your boat, I understand why you do it. But I'm just
But
bringing like
let me say one quick thing. But how about the people that have never lived in another country? I've never lived in another country until I have, and it's like, whoa.
that's
Like
good for you.
when I moved to Atlanta, well that's different for me because I lived in New York and a whole bunch of big cities, but still coming from where I'm coming from, then moving to another city, it's way different, a way different feeling, way different opportunity. Me and you talked about this privately, Rich. If you come to Atlanta, you can't get some money. It's something wrong with you. Like Atlanta, it's just money everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not making the millions, it's money everywhere. Even driving Uber, you can come up, bro. When I moved to Atlanta, I drove Uber for like 3-4 months. My first month driving Uber, man, I made like $3,000, like, which to me is cool because I wasn't driving every single day. Like it's just money in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And all I'm saying is, I think people should at least entertain that idea of actually
That's
living in another
true.
country.
I mean, that's what's up. I'm not telling nobody not to, but man, you can't just tell all the good shit and not none of the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
Like,
Rick.
man, in them countries, man, I'm telling you, bro, when it come down to it, bro, they gonna side with I mean, if you get into a car accident in Colombia for some reason, if you drive and you decide you want to drive, bro, they gonna side with the local, man. They always gonna side with, bro, you're gonna run into some issues, man. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you personally, but people as foreigners, man. Just like somebody said earlier, ASAP Rocky, he got locked up in that foreign country, and I mean, it was videos of the shit the dude was trying to egg the fight on. You know what I'm saying? It was obvious. So I'm just saying, like, brothers that's moving abroad, just be aware, man. That shit ain't all peaches and cream, man.
Bro, all
So
the stuff I post, and I know you talking to the group. Let me just say that all the stuff I post, because I go through stuff, as y'all know, almost daily. So I post everything, like taxis, all type. Like I went over my deportation thing. I'm going through so much. Like I don't ever want to seem like I'm just making it seem like peaches is cream. But what I'm saying is, I don't know. To me, I'm finally able to actually save some money. My rent is only like $400. Like I'm finally able to save some money. I actually paid off debt since I've been here. My credit score just shot up all of a sudden because I was able to knock something off. It's like, even if you do it for a year or two, I'm just saying that a lot of us in the United States, we all, because I've lived in several cities, and I always was like, but it's like we don't think about exactly how Brady. That's all I'm saying. We acting like it's just peaches and cream in the United States. Maybe for a few of us it is, but for the other 92.3%, well, what is it? Only 1.7% of African Americans are considered wealthy. So that means 99% of us are not. So it's like I'm talking about the are nots. You know
all
what
right,
I'm saying?
well, let me ask you another question then. When you was here in Atlanta,
Yeah.
financially, you were successful, right?
I was all right. I mean, to me,
I mean, but you was doing good. You was
over six
doing
figures
good.
is successful, and I wasn't
You
making
had a
no.
good job. You had some things going on. You was doing better than a lot of brothers are now. But maybe you find Colombia just does it for you. And I understand, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. If Atlanta doesn't do it for you, then yeah, you try somewhere else. Whether it's Florida, Colombia, no matter where. If you feel like another country is better for you, man, keep scribing, brother. I support that. But I just want to let everybody know, man, that shit ain't all pieces of cream. And I mean, Drees can testify, you know, he had some issues in Brazil, man, with that race shit, man. Real life shit, bro. Like, the shit he went through, man, I'm gonna be honest, man, I never heard no white folks ain't never came at me like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I couldn't really believe my own eyes. I'm like, damn, they more racist out here than fucking America.
But see, that's just one part though. That's like the United States. I'm from a racist ass place, by the way. Y'all, I keep saying where I'm from. New Orleans is a racist ass place. It's way more racist than Atlanta was when I lived in Atlanta. It's way more racist. New York got a different type of racism. It's economic racism in New York. Because I noticed when I lived in Harlem, I didn't see no black-owned businesses. Even though there are some, but most of the businesses are, well, I guess you can call African black in the United States, but I mean African American. I rarely seen any African American owned businesses. I seen everybody else except African Americans. But that's the same thing about the United States. I'm sure Oklahoma is a lot more racist than Atlanta. I'm sure Oklahoma is a lot more racist than, stop trolling, Jackie. I'm sure Oklahoma is a lot more racist than Miami. I'm sure Houston is a lot less racist than, I don't know, Maine. You know what I mean? So I feel like we can't just say this about these other countries because it's the same exact thing in the United States. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'm gonna try to get Brother Domain on. Let him speak his piece, man. I saw you just hit me up, so I'm gonna send you the link. He gonna tell you how great it is. He coming to defend you right now. He coming
I
to
got
defend
a
you.
question.
Get out, my boy,
I got a
Richie,
question.
Go ahead.
I got a question. Check this out. All right. If you want to drive from Atlanta to Miami and you just going to drive from Atlanta to Miami, you think you'll have an issue before you get to Miami? Just driving?
How far is that? Like 4 hours?
Yes.
No, it's longer than 4 hours.
Good. But
It's more
Miami.
than 4 hours from Atlanta to Miami. And that's more like maybe 8, 9 hours.
Yeah.
You think we have an issue? If you driving a speed limit, you just driving the highways. You think you have an issue? 9 times out of 10.
I think so. I said, what?
If you just driving from Atlanta to Miami, do you just if you want to get in your car right now and drive to Miami, do you think you're gonna get pulled over or get racially profiled or somebody in some city is gonna just stop you on the side of the road and say, "Hey man, what you doing going through here?"
Hell yeah.
Nah,
that
come
I-75
on,
is no joke.
My man,
listen, B-Dot. I'm telling you.
I've driven all, dude. I travel for a living.
B-Dot.
I travel for a living. I got a car. Let me tell you one thing. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Bro,
I have a car.
You rich, man. You can't
listen. I have a car. When I bought that car in 2011, it had 42,000 miles on it. In 2011, I drove that car all around the country from the East Coast to the West Coast, driving, working pipelines, working small little cities. I got 85,000 miles in that car right now. I got pulled over one time because I was speeding. I didn't get pulled over because I was just in some city and they said, "What you doing here?" Or, "Hey, what you doing, nigga?" And I mean, none of that old crazy shit, man. But I would not drive from Bogota to Cali. I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
Okay, but here's the thing. You like. Here's the thing. I'm not knocking you because you're speaking. Well, I'm not knocking you because you're speaking from your perspective. Okay. Now, my perspective is I got knocked in Cook County, Georgia, off of I-75, off of some illegal shit, and I got profiled with my mother in the car while she was wearing a do-rag in Georgia while I was going to go see my attorney after I got knocked. I don't drive through Georgia. I don't care if I'm going through Valdosta. If I'm passing through Georgia, I'm flying over that motherfucker. I'm not. Listen. So what I'm saying is,
I was using Georgia and Florida as an example.
Man, stop moving the goalposts.
I'm just saying driving.
Stop moving the goalposts. Be that.
I ain't moving the goalposts. I'm using it as an example. I just said Georgia to Florida just because I don't even know nothing about Georgia to Florida. But I'm just saying
in 2005, I got knocked coming from Atlanta, Georgia.
Was you dirty though? Was you dirty?
I got that.
What that got to do with it, Rich?
I didn't.
What it got to do with it if you're not dirty?
If you dirty and you get pulled over for no reason.
If you get dirty and you get knocked, that's a part of the game, bro.
I'm tell you,
but
listen,
you
there was no
profile.
place. There was. Listen, there was nothing illegal taking place. There was nothing illegal taking place, right? After I got my case and I got my lawyer and everything, I'm driving back. Months later, I'm driving back to Macon, Georgia, because I gotta go to trial, right? I'm not a good trial. I gotta go to a hearing. We have a motion to suppress evidence.
Why you think you got pulled over, bro?
Stop moving the goal. Why y'all moving the goalposts on Irwin?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you exactly why I got pulled over, right? And this is from my perspective, right? The trooper told my mom, right, that the tint on the car was too dark for the state of Georgia. Mind you, he sees that we got Orange County, Florida plates on. The fucking laws for tint in Florida ain't the same as Georgia. So you telling me my mother is supposed to change her tint just to drive through Georgia? You know what I'm saying? Or did you really pull over because you seen a black woman wearing a do-rag? So you know me, I'm putting a fit in the whip with the officer in the whip, and he's talking to my mom and all kinds of shit. Because I'm like, yo, that don't make no sense. So then he come to me, I need to see your ID. I'm like, yo, you not gonna see anything. And my mom's, you know, she's from Haiti. She's scared police is. I'm like, you don't need to see my ID. I'm not driving. What you need to see my ID for? I'm like, matter of fact, why you pull us over? And then he's giving me all this nonsense. So I told him straight. I was like, listen, that's not the day. What are you going to do? Because this is my. So then you do, and he said from his own mouth, right? From his own mouth, that our license plate is a Florida license plate, and there's people who be driving through here traffic. Bro, that got no fucking reason. That's no reason for you to pull me over. Like, you just see interstate tags, so you just pulling people over because they got an orange. My bad, bro. I just take it emotionally because I experienced this.
No, it's good. Go ahead. So, I just want to chime in. Now, Irwin.
Nah, chime in. Go ahead.
If I work at Chick-fil-A and you walk in, what am I supposed to say to you?
You should, hold on, repeat that again.
If I work at Chick-fil-A and you walk in, I'm supposed to say, hey, how you doing? Let me take your order, right? So if you're a police officer and he sees you, it's his job. He gonna ask you all these stupid questions because he's trying to see what's your reaction. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, I hate that happened to you, and the profiler does exist because I do get pulled over too. But what I'm saying to all the brothers that's listening is, I know that happened a long time ago. Let's stay clean, bro. Let's stay on the up and up. So when y'all do get pulled over, we don't got nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the up and up, you're on the up and up. Only thing you can do is give you a ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Not only were we on the up and up, Rich. Not only were we on the up and up, but we didn't get no ticket. But my whole reason is this. This is the point that I'm trying to make. It's a lot of other white people driving on the road coming from Florida with oranges on their license plate. So that's what I'm saying. Not with do-rags, but why are you pulling over the woman with the dark complexion with the do-rag on? Because she got a peach on her license plate, and then the tint is illegal for the tint in Georgia. But she don't live in Georgia, and you can clearly see that when you pull the registration, you see everything. To me,
what I'm saying to you, bro, look, my dad told me a long time ago, man. He used to tell me, do not wear ball caps when you're driving on the highway. Don't wear do-rags. Don't wear shit like that. Because that's what the state troopers, that's what they look for. They look for a young black man with a cap on.
Exactly.
Something on their head. So if you know that, don't do that.
But Rich, you know what they don't look for? You know what they don't look for? I'm going to tell you what they don't look for, Rich.
They profiling you, bro. That's what they doing.
So why stay in that system?
They don't look for people who got swastikas on their car. They don't look for people who got Confederate flags on their car. They don't look for those people. Like,
and y'all,
that's why I'm just answering B. That's why I'm just answering B. question. Like, I'm not saying B. is wrong. I'm just saying he's coming from his experience. You know what I'm saying? But I feel, because, bro, anybody tell me we going to Georgia, I'm like, I'm flying. I'm not driving through there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So
and
that's
you're
why
right.
I just said,
and you're right. Everybody have a different experience. You're right. But but they're not pulling everybody to drive through there over. You know what I mean? This was what I'm saying. You probably have more now. Travel data. Would you feel more safe driving from Bogota or from Cartagena to Cali, or would you feel more safe driving from Florida to Georgia?
He don't
Now,
give a real answer.
hold on, wait. I want to say one thing.
He don't give you no good answer. He gonna give you some bullshit. Go ahead.
No. I want to say one thing. Just because you see what they're trying to do. Just because this brother is in Colombia, I do want to hear from Domain.
What up, man?
Good evening. How's everyone doing?
What's going on?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so I kind of got in. I kind of got in late, but I was listening to a little bit, so I just want to, join the conversation. Let me see. So, what should I start with? Questions or?
So basically, so pretty much when I came in, I was telling people to consider moving to another country, and that turned into they don't think that's a good idea, basically. And I'm saying I think it is.
Oh man, see that ain't what I said.
What
I said was there's racism in other countries, and what I said, it's not all peaches and cream moving abroad. You are gonna have your issues, and racism does exist in Colombia, and that's a fact.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why that's a fact, because the first slaves actually landed in Cartagena. Y'all might want to correct me if I'm wrong, but that was one of the first hubs for slavery, man.
My question
And
for you
people,
is, how does that affect you, though?
How does that affect me?
Domain, how does that affect you right now living in Colombia? Right now.
How does what? The first slaves were landed in Cartagena?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It does not.
That's
Does
all.
Racism exists in Colombia?
But how does it affect you?
Yes, racism exists. Hold on. I'm gonna answer both questions. Yes, racism exists in Colombia, but not to the degree where you see racism existed ingrained in the society of America. And I'm gonna explain that to you like this. As a black man from the United States coming here, whether people believe it or not, I just got told today people thought I was Colombian. They don't believe it, but at the same time, check this out.
Did you have on that white beater?
No, I wasn't dressed like this.
All right.
No, I wasn't dressed like this. I don't go in public dressed like this unless I'm going to the gym.
Y'all boys is trolling like a mug tonight, bro. I swear y'all trolling tonight.
Hey,
Look here, man. Look here. I'm trying to keep these jokers up out of Colombia, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be back in January.
Yeah, and he'll be back before you know it. So I say it like this.
Yeah. We trolling, man. We just having a dialogue, brother. We had a discussion. I'm not gonna agree with you on everything.
Erwin was definitely trolling, bro. The question you was asking Erwin about the do-rag and all that was definitely trolling.
Bro, man, that's reality, man. Listen, man. Police are going to discriminate against you if you got a high top fade, you got dreadlock, you got on a rag, you got on a certain cap. They gonna discriminate. They gonna profile you. You know what I'm saying? You got tinted windows. They gonna profile you, bro.
But check this out. That's the part of the stress that you don't need as a black person going about your day-to-day life. That is profiling. Yes, profiling don't happen here in Colombia. That's a big difference for me.
So do you drive in Colombia?
I don't have a car here.
Huh?
I take the Uber.
So, I mean, if you had a free car, would you drive in Colombia?
If I had a free car?
Yeah,
I would drive. I drove in Dominican Republic, and I had no problems. I got hit with a roadblock one time, and me and my man gave the cop $5, and he was like, "Yo, come back later. We have some parties. I get some beers, and we get some bitches." That's what he told me. I was like, "I'm good. I'm going to my girlfriend's house." He said, "Laugh." He said, "I have a good day." That was one time out of the years I've been going to the Dominican Republic. So yeah, I got hit with everybody gets hit with a police roadblock if you're gonna be driving in the Dominican Republic. So
right,
that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. But my thing is this here.
Do they profile? Do they profile? No, they don't. Do they look for the foreigners? What?
No, they don't. They don't profile in the Dominican Republic. They can't. Oh, okay. So check this out, right? How long have you been visiting Dominican Republic? Since when?
I've been pulled over by the cops. I have
No,
been
no, 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 no,
profiled
no. Listen to the question. How long have you been visiting Dominican Republic? Since
for
when? Since when?
years.
4 years. I've been visiting Dominican Republic from 2007 to 2018. I lived in Dominican Republic for 1 year. So that means my experience, I would have more experience with living there than what you would. So all I'm
Facts.
saying is, this is what I'm saying. As us, the people on this panel, if we're driving and passing about our business, they're not going to be able to look at you, see you drive, and say, "Oh, I think they're foreigners. Let's pull them over."
You're in
Unless,
a tourist
um,
area. You're in a
well, I
tourist
mean,
area.
in a tourist area, of course, in a tourist area, because more likely most people in tourist area are going to be tourists because that's where the money is. Most Dominicans in tourist area ain't gonna have no money.
But that's Gringo-ism. That's not racism. We're talking about racism. I don't even know how we got to Gringo-ism, bro. We talking about racism. Domain said something very cool. He was like, he said that day-to-day racism, that day-to-day stress of not having overt. Matter of fact, and maybe it is racism. Even if I agree, maybe it is racism. But it's not in your face racism, and you're not faced with it on a day-to-day basis like you are in the United States, man. Especially when you live in
Oh, when
certain
you was in
climates
Atlanta,
in the
you was
United States.
experiencing racism every day.
I mean, well, I ain't even gonna say nothing. I ain't even gonna say. Oh, from the police, no. From the police, no. But workplace, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, but you just said you had your best jobs in Atlanta and you made money in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta's a bigger city for more than black people, so the
It's more
opportunities are going to be better
opportunity,
for
right?
black people in Atlanta than South Carolina.
yeah, of course. I know that. I'm boosting Atlanta up. But if I was to ever move back to the United States, I would live in Atlanta or I would live in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Them are the only three cities that I would possibly live in
Yeah, me too.
in the United States. Just because I know a flight is nothing from either one of those locations. I can just and be good.
And I'm not the winter type of person anymore, so I can't take the cold.
Yeah, me neither. So what do you think about this comment? Anybody, I guess, that be traveling like us. Racism exists everywhere. Leaving a message to the escapes it sounds absurd. So you're saying that me living in Colombia and the man living in Colombia is absurd then? Please answer that, D Bizzle.
Hey,
My
he can
woman is
think. He
my
can think.
woman
He
is
can think what he
gorgeous.
wants.
My
No,
woman is
but the
gorgeous.
key word
My
is
money is longer.
he said racism exists everywhere. Now, if you just leave in America to get away from racism, he's saying that's absurd. So the key
Oh,
word
okay.
that makes a big difference in the
But
state.
racism is the
So,
system in America, though. It's not the system in Colombia, though. That's what I'm
so
saying. If it
maybe I'm.
was,
So maybe
me and
I'm leaving
Kane would
to
be facing
escape.
racism all the time.
So maybe I'm leaving to escape profiling.
Now,
So I can.
me and Travon, we just got on this because he was just saying, I was basically saying, like, everything ain't all great in Colombia, man. If you just
No,
look
it's
at it,
not.
I
they
ain't never
just
said
had all
that.
this protests and this and that. You could have easily got hurt the other day during that
Fact,
protest.
fact.
You know what I'm saying? Then you would have been singing that song, man, fuck Colombia. These
Nah,
motherfuckers,
no.
No.
they
So
kicked my ass because I was a gringo.
you tried
I
to
was
say that, but
American.
that's not
But
because
that's
I'm
what you
black.
said.
That's not
You said,
racism,
yo, if
though.
I open this door, they find out I'm a gringo. Man,
But
they
that's
might
not
have killed me.
racism. We're talking about race. Andre said it. He said, I experienced being treated more like an American than a black man outside of the United States. And that's all I've been saying since we started talking about this. Andre is saying that's all I've been saying since we started this. Like, we have privilege. Finally, we get to use our privilege when we leave the United States. So a privilege we earned. Because
So
whether they look
that's
at us as we got money or whatever it is, it finally feel good to have some type of privilege without having to
that's
make $500,000 a year or whatever it may be.
Hey,
500
Dad,
bitch
I
$5
got a
million.
Dad, I got a question for you because you said that I understand the point that you're coming from, and you acknowledge the fact that racism does exist in Colombia and all over the world.
Well, I'm saying it could. I'm just saying it doesn't affect me because it's not in the
Nah,
system.
No, I correct. Like I understand what you're saying. Like it doesn't affect you because you're not ingrained in their system. And in addition to that, you got the dollars, the American dollars that convert over that gives you more. Very similar to like how certain people here who got dollars or are celebrities, they don't experience it to the degree that the regular person can. So
Bill
this is what
Cosby.
leads into my this is what leads into my next question though. There's always variables, but this is what leads into my next question though, right? So how do you, and I'm not judging you or saying you or anybody, I'm just saying, so
Yeah.
how do you view people like yourself who might know that other people that are natives there that's ingrained in the system are experiencing racism, but due to your status or your nationality or whatever money you got, it doesn't affect you the same way. Very similar to how like somebody who's a celebrity in the States doesn't experience it as a person making, you know, $50,000 a year. You see what I'm saying? And they might be making $1,000,000 a year. Like, how do you see what I'm saying? Because it's like you see it going on, but the one thing that we have in the United States is that, you know, the majority of us are not making $1,000,000 a year. So when we see oppression or things that take place, or we see a
Not even
situation
80.
like
We not even the
exactly,
majority not even making 70, bro. It's very low.
or you see somebody like that went through like the Trayvon Martin encounter and did a little different things taking place, and you can actually feel it and have that sense of like, yo, that could have been me because we're on the same level, like we're all being oppressed, and you can relate to the person. Now, how do you feel though if a situation like that takes place overseas and you know it won't happen to you because your status, or it's a less chance of it happening to you? Like, how do you view yourself or other people in general who you should am I making sense?
Are you? And I definitely want Domain to hop in because he sound like he got something more profound to say. But I just want to throw this in really quick. During the protest, you heard me say I understand why. I'm looking at the prices. I'm looking at how everything's rolling, and I completely understand why things are how they are. Matter of fact, me and Dre was talking through the whole protest. Shout out to Dre. But personally, man, I mean, what can I do? I mean, now if I was making a certain amount of money, maybe I can do more. But right now, I'm just honestly, and I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna let you say what you gotta say to me. I'm honestly just trying to settle in here because I feel way better just being outside of the United States, just to be honest. Like I just feel better mentally, spiritually, like just everything, man. Like I'm happy. Like even if something happens with my funds, I'm just gonna figure it out, man. I'm just gonna figure it out. Like I feel like if I lose my job right now, all of a sudden Colombia every day, I'm just gonna start facing racism. I just don't think that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But go ahead, what you was gonna say to me?
I was gonna say, me personally, if I experience it or see it, I have to be a voice for the voiceless. I have to use my position to help others, just the same way I was helped growing up as a younger person. Reach one, teach one, or each one teach one. That's how I do it, regardless if it's here in Colombia and I say, well, I'm not Colombian, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut and keep walking, because that to me makes me a coward. An injustice to a person anywhere in the world is an injustice to all persons in the world.
Okay.
So
No, you know
I'm
what?
gonna do what I can do to right the wrong.
And
But what can you
And
do?
personally, a lot of people, hold on. And personally, you believe it or not, and Jackie, you know, you met me, so you know we cool, we 100. I would rather, if I had to, I'm not saying I want to, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I would rather die here fighting an injustice than to have myself say, "Oh, I just turned my head towards it because I'm not from here and it wasn't happening to me." But if it's another brother that looks like me, come from the same type of racial background as me, and I see it happening, I feel as though that I'm obliged to have his back.
I respect that. And that's part of the reason why I asked that question, because you know, in the States, when you have somebody who look like you and they're in the same position or same circumstance as you, and you can have that kind of relation. And then when you see other people, like, yeah, you might hear LeBron James give a speech, or Dwayne Wade, or they speak on racism, or they say whatever, but there's really a lot more that they can do. And I'm
A lot
curious to
more.
know, like, I'm curious to know, like, so in other countries, That's how the people, when they're being oppressed, that's how they view us. So I would think that because you go in another country and you see that or you experience it, I don't think the marching should stop or the speaking out should stop because you're dealing with it less. So that's why I was trying to understand the perspective of like how the panel feels about that. You know what I mean? When it takes place in other countries, because like everyone agrees racism does exist in other countries, whether it's to the same degree as the states or not the state. But the truth is, because we have that American in our nationality, we don't experience it the way other people experience it.
You want to chime in, beat that, man? What's the deal? No, you ain't jumped in. Well, hold on. Let Dre get a little bite of this apple. Go ahead, Dre. Get on in there. Oh, he left out. Well, go ahead, beat that.
Oh no, man. I agree with what you guys are saying, man. You're right. You're right, Jermaine. Oh, Dre back.
Oh, let me turn the camera back around. Got you guys enjoying the tree.
Dre back.
Go ahead, beat that. Speak your piece, brother.
No, man, okay. But you're right. You're right. I've seen it out there. Myself, Jermaine, Dre, Travel Data. You know, we've all you as well spent a lot of time out here. We see it. You know, and if something were to go down, something were to happen, you're right. We would step up and do what we can to help. You know, we don't want to see another, you know, person of color anywhere on this earth be you know, treated a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a connection with them. You know what I'm saying?
Is it me or is anybody else hearing stuff? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can hear.
Who, the Erwin? You got Erwin, you got it on pause. I mean, you got it on mute.
No, I'm saying I couldn't hear what B-Dot was saying.
Yeah, I heard everything B-Dot said.
Oh,
go ahead, Andre, man. Speak up a little bit, Andre. It's kind of low.
Okay, cool. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still a little low, but go ahead.
Okay, cool. Let's see if I raise my volume up in regards to the call. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Man, you got to get some of these, man. You got to get some of these.
Let me go grab them real quick then.
Yeah.
Let me go grab them. I'll be right back. Y'all gonna have to enjoy the tree.
So the only thing I would say about this conversation is like, but I'm gonna tell you what I do. I mean, and I don't even know if this is even helping, but I don't know what I can do to help stop racism because I can't even do nothing about it in the United States. So the most I do here is I'm constantly like y'all know I say this all the time. Be a king. I tip everybody. I've given dinner. I bought dinners for. Really, I try to target Venezuelans on purpose more so than Colombians, even though I know Colombians are struggling as well. But man, and that's one thing I like about my chick because she about the same things. Like if we don't eat something, we don't throw it away. We just go outside, or I go outside and just give it to somebody. That's the best I can do. But to try to help fight for race, because bro, I'm definitely. I mean, I went to the after the real protest, and I posted some of that video. But during the real protest, I was not going outside, bro. Call me a coward or whatever. I was not going outside, bro. Police was getting shot. Beat out. Am I lying? Police was getting shot. All this was happening, bro. So call me whatever. I wasn't going out during the real protest.
Of course not. Of course not. I would not advise anybody to go out there. You know what I mean? You from a foreign country. You're not in that. You know what I mean? They fighting for some serious stuff. You just to go out there just to be out there. I mean, that's that's a high risk. That's a high risk situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, Andre. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, Dre.
Okay, you hear me now? I saw B-Dot shake his head, so
I mean, we can hear you, but it's stupid low.
Oh, is it? Let me see if I turn the volume up or anything.
Man, you gotta get that laptop popping, man.
I'm looking at you guys on the laptop. That's
really?
Yeah. No. I'm on the phone right here. I got you guys on the phone in my hand, but I'm actually looking at you guys through the laptop.
Bro, you need to use Future, bro. Just use the laptop, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay, but my point is this, guys, in regards to what I heard you say. What I try to do, which is a great question, Erwin, what I try to do here that represents two groups of individuals. I represent Americans and I represent blacks in America. So I have to carry myself in a certain way that doesn't walk into the negative stereotypes of what people think of Americans when we go or visit other countries, because we're actually known as being disrespectful. We're known as being sometimes rude in regards to our behavior, or we look down on other countries because the American dollar is so strong. We look down and we kind of treat the people without the respect that they deserve sometimes, not all the time. So one of the things that I do is this, that we give to the poor in the community. Every week we go to the grocery store and we buy food and we take it up to the local churches, or we take it up to the local food banks here in Cali to feed the local Venezuelans that are hungry, as well as the Colombia. I learned that from Ace Live when he and I, on one of his videos, went to went into with some young black kids, and we took them to the grocery store to feed their parents. To give their Mother's Day gifts. So we raised the money through the subscribers. We went to the store and we actually took the kids. They were able to buy their parents Mother's Day gifts. Since Ace did that, I haven't stopped trying my best through my way of giving back to the community in which I live in, and that's by way of food. Erwin, back to the point that you were making in regards to the plight and the black flight here. I mean, the black fight here in Colombia. I don't have enough historical data, experience, and background to fight the fight that the Black Colombian has compared to if a Black or Afro-Colombian came to the United States and tried to fight our fight. They don't have enough data, experience, and background to fight our fight in the States. They can stand there and part of the group, but they don't really understand a Trayvon Martin. They don't really understand when a kid got choked out in New York. They don't understand our historical plight. So it is with us here, even though we're under the same complexion umbrella, we don't have enough data and historical background or experience of the racism that the Afro-Colombian has. So it wouldn't be fair of me to sit back and say I'm a part of their fight when I don't know their plight. The last thing I'd like to say is one of the things that we're doing with our channel with Afro Colombians, we decided and we've already got it set up for the up and coming year to start to interview and to go into more Afro Colombian communities to let people see some of the more positive things that are going on in some of the Afro Colombian communities and not just the so called white Colombian communities that you see on YouTube all the time, including our channel. So instead of just taking you downtown to the areas that people often know for Cali or the Medellins or the Bogotas or the Cartagenas, we are taking people to the inner city areas to see some of the more positive things that are going on, that blacks are very creative, business minded. They do have 5K runs where they raise money for the community. They do have spiritual leaders in their community. They do have black museums in their community. So we want to showcase blacks that, like we got, for example, we have one girl that lives here. She moved from Toronto, Canada, and she's been living here in Cali, Colombia, and she's going to be showing us around. We have D, who moved from Houston, and at the end of the day, what ends up happening is D knows Cali, Colombia, and some of the positive things that they do here as far as the entertainment. You have Grammy nominated singers here in Cali, Colombia that are black that people don't even know about. So we are working to show a more positive light on the Afro Colombian experience. But as far as walking in their shoes on a daily basis, I don't have the data, the experience, or information to be able to fight their fight for them. So the one fight that I can fight that we all can relate to is poverty. So we try to feed the homeless.
Well, let me just throw something in there as well. That's one of the things that I enjoy about being outside of the United States, because I'm financially able to do more of that type of stuff, like just buying stuff and not using it. Like every time I leave an Airbnb and my chick notice, I leave a gift for them. also too, because I don't want to haul it all around, but I just buy stuff and just leave it here. So every little place we live in, we just make it our home. But little stuff like that is what I enjoy, because in the Matrix, I'm so worried about my own bills. It's harder to get that positive reinforcement back because I'm worried about putting gas. My tank, my tank cost $70 to fill up. $70. So it's hard for me to even think about, let me just buy. But here, I'm able to do that. That's why when I'm talking about leaving the United States, man, for me, when I first came here, I didn't even think it was going to be anything like this. I didn't think it was going to be anything like this until I actually got here. And I'm like, that's how much rent costs? I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to be like this when I came. But I just knew I wanted to get out of the United States and try something else. And I have done that. And when I hear people like you talk, man, it just make me think about everything else that comes with Colombia, man. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, man. I'm definitely going to keep boosting it up. And I just want to throw this last one in before I get out of here. I think brothers always move through different cities, but I think that we should also start thinking about, especially if you got your passport, actually living in another country. Not saying it has to be Colombia. Of course, visit there first. But I just think that that's one of the reasons why we're here, to start pushing the narrative, because I think 3 people on this panel actually live outside the country, at least have part-time or maybe even more. I think we should actually start thinking about that instead of just always, not saying nobody in this group doing it, but instead of always just caping for the United States because we was born there. Like you mentioned earlier, would you drive from Bogota to whatchamacallit? That's because I'm not from here. Now, if I was from here and grew up here my whole life, of course I'll make that drive. It's probably the same thing in the US. Like certain places in the US, people just not gonna drive through because it's like, I don't like me, from what I heard about Chicago, I wouldn't drive through Chicago. But somebody that's been through Chicago, they like, bro, Chicago's one of the, everybody I know from Chicago, every single person tells me Chicago is an excellent city. It's a beautiful city. I have never talked to nobody from Chicago that said anything negative. But when I watch the news, all I'm seeing is negativity, man. That's all I'm saying. And I'm probably gonna head out in about 10.
I just thought about something, man. This is for Andre. The last time, well, not the last
No, that
time,
was a good
maybe.
point, though. I think what Andre said is deep. That does make sense because it's 2 different experiences with the people there in the land. So it's so it's to a degree we can relate, and to a degree they can relate, but it's not really the same, especially with they don't know our history and how deep it is, and we're not too familiar with how deep theirs is. So no, that was a good answer, and it's good to know that you're doing those things too, man. That's actually real big because in a sense that's still a form of fighting the oppression and the racism that's instilled in their land, but doing it in the way that you know how to do it that can help them and benefit them. I think that's deep. I
Right.
think that's dope, actually.
Thanks, brother.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, B dot.
Yeah. This for Andre. Um, maybe 2 or 3 maybe 6, 7 months ago, I was
But Jermaine, on the
yeah,
other hand, I don't mean to cut beat that off, but Jermaine, on the other hand, he taking that Black Panther thing everywhere he go. Don't matter what country he in, bro.
Okay, B dot.
yeah. I met a guy, and I know you know what Tamaco is, right?
Yeah.
It's right south of Cali. It's a heavily populated in Afro-Colombians down there. And this guy, his name is Diego Angulo, and he's running for mayor of Tumaco. I met him in the Alvianca Lounge in Bogota, and me and him always kind of kept in touch. I met him actually a couple extra times in Bogota, but maybe you could get with him, man. They're doing some major things down there. I'm on his WhatsApp group, and they're doing some major things down there in Tumaco, and in that little area, man. That might be somebody you can talk to and reach out to and network with, man, because I'm not really sure when the elections are, but I know he's running for mayor of Tumaco.
Could you do me a favor? Could you give me when you and I are part of this? You got my information. We're close friends, so send me that individual's name because I've been reaching what I've been doing lately over the last since I've got, even before I came back, I've just been reaching out to individuals in the Afro-Colombian population. So when next year comes, we're dedicating a lot of our time, our energy, and efforts to shine a light on the Afro-Colombian population here in Colombia, because there is no channel on YouTube that specifically shines the spotlight on these communities in a positive light. The reason why I understand, because of course it's a Spanish speaking country. Therefore, uh, if you're not speaking Spanish, then you may not be able to see the Colombian YouTubers, that black YouTubers that may be out here. But there aren't any, far we've seen any positive uh, black, uh, the English speaking channels that cater to show highlighting. For example, nobody realized that they have a jazz festival down here. Like we have a jazz festival in Miami. They've got jazz festivals down here. I mean, some great performers. Like I said, the one lady down here, she not only was a Grammy nominated performer last year for her music, she also has a, just like Diddy and Jay Z had. She has a liquor line. She has a line of drinks that are specifically made by people that are from the Pacific Coast, and you don't hear about that part. But it's amazing what goes on down here in the black population. But if nobody's saying anything on their behalf, then it'll go under the bridge. So that's what we want to dedicate a part of Love Crossing Borders to, is the Afro-Colombian experience, because we want it to be a full Colombian experience. And if we just go to the white Colombian experience, then we're only showing you as the audience and you as our friends a limited exposure and limited truth about Colombia, and not the whole truth. And the black experience here, just like Rich said, a lot of people don't know that Cartagena was literally considered the New York City of the trade slaves. If you want to do real trade slaving, you came to Cartagena, because that's where the money was in regards to the slaves. And then you moved your slaves around and about. So that's one of the things that we want to highlight here with our channel, is helping and exposure to the Afro-Colombian population.
All right, guys, I'm gonna slide out of here, man. I gotta get up. I gotta look at these charts. Y'all know what I'm talking about, and I gotta get up out of here and get up in the morning. So y'all be safe, man. Good talk tonight. And I'm trying to keep everybody out of Colombia, man, because I'm trying to keep it all to myself.
Hey, I feel you 100%, B Dot. I feel you
I feel you
100%,
too,
bro.
brother.
I'm
What
just
part?
joking, man.
Nah, I'm not,
Y'all be
man.
safe, man.
Y'all boys had to sue us. Don't come to DR. Don't come to Colombia.
Yeah, stay in Susua. Stay in Susua.
I know, right? That's how I feel.
Drees, man, you got a question right here. So you had some issues in Brazil.
You can have issues anywhere, man. It's just simple fact that, just because you're American, it don't mean that you entitled to be a person that's able to just walk around freely. You gonna have issues just about anywhere you go.
True.
Word.
That's so true.
But
Well,
the main was calling, and I had to pay some attention, and I didn't didn't mean to look like I was up here asleep, but when the main calls and she got something important she needed to say, I need to listen. So that conversation had to happen. I wasn't up here trying to be sleeping there, but I apologize. I'm back. Whatever questions y'all got, people in the chat room, if y'all got any questions, suggestions, please put it in the chat room, man, so we can go ahead on and make it on through this conversation that we got going on here. But
I do
have problems anyway.
I do have a question, and this is back to the original topic of what we were discussing. So, and I like to hear the panel overview. So, like in everyone's opinion, with all the evidence provided, like let's just go by strictly evidence and not what we think according to history or emotion, but with all the evidence provided, Does the panel feel that Trayvon Martin's death is the outcome of Zimmerman being a racist, or is that the case? Or let's look at it this way. Or is it more the case of, and I'm just putting this out there because I'm familiar with Sanford, I know that area, or the fact that it was at night, it was a person walking through the neighborhood with the hoodie. The dude is neighborhood watch, and maybe he was a little aggressive or went a little out of the line of his responsibility, and possibly, whether or not Martin um, was a little bit aggressive. Like what I'm trying to say is the consensus that, because the majority of black people feel that way, is the consensus that the guy was a racist, like he felt he was superior to the black man, or more, like is that what it is, or is it a person of taking authority way too far beyond what he should have? Like how do we tell the difference in this specific case?
All right, I'm gonna start off. All right, if you remember clearly, if you listen to the 911 tapes, right? The police officer on the phone, whoever, the 911, whatever, the lady was like,
Dispatcher.
dispatcher, don't follow him, right? Don't follow him. Now, George Zimmerman said, oh, they always get away. They always get away. He said that on the 911 tape. That's when you bring race into the whole situation, in my opinion. They always get away. Well, who is they? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like the racism part comes in. Now, do I feel like he's racist? Maybe he goes out and shoots black people. I don't think that's the situation, but I think that he just got tired of black, in his mind, black people getting away with shit. So he gonna solve this shit tonight. They told him not to get out of the car, and he got out of the car. Now after that point, hey, whatever happened, happened. But I think he brought racism into that shit by just the words he was using. But that's just my opinion. Anybody want to chime in?
I respect your opinion, Rich, because it is based off of factual evidence and is based off of logic. But at the same time, I do feel there is a private interpretation on how you perceive that comment. And I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying it's not, but I can understand why you feel that way because it can be taken that way.
Well, I look at it from the perspective of no matter whenever you have a guy of different complexions standing in front of each other, an opportunity for racial uh, biasness is there subconsciously because it's been ingrained in our minds as Americans anyway. So when this moment happened, you have a guy that's Hispanic, you have a guy that is black standing in front of each other. So immediately by being programmed by the United States of America, uh, you subconsciously, no matter without even trying, as soon as a black guy's in front of a white guy, doesn't matter what it is, we for a split second form of biased decision regarding that person until that person expresses that hey that they're cool or they're not cool. My point in saying all that is, I look at it more on the side of it just was a stupid dude that made a stupid mistake that caused the death of a young man and caused the travesties that have happened in his own life. I don't think this guy would have realized if he had made that moment or made that move that he would have destroyed his own life at the same time as taking that other young man's life. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they are equal. What I'm saying is that in that decision, in that moment, you can make a stupid moment or a stupid move that can destroy something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be racial. Was race involved? Yes, because of two different individuals from different races were there. But at the same time, I do think a large percent of it was I messed up. I made a bad, stupid call at a bad moment. It destroyed my life. I took the life of a young man foolishly, and I fell into. In other words, he fell into the subconscious plight of the matrix. If he had been in another country with a different mindset when it came to race, that may not even occur like that. But
Andre,
America,
I don't mean to cut you off. No, finish it. What you were saying. I'm sorry.
but a part of it, I look at it from the point of a guy making a bad decision, but I don't lean towards that he was just like Rich said, going out in the dead of night, and I'm going to get one of these Negroes, and when my chance to get one comes, I'm not going to let it get by me. I don't think he was thinking like that. I just think that no matter any time, if you notice in the country, no matter if you put a white woman, a black woman together, you can put Irish man and an Asian dude together for a split second because of the country, for a split second because of the country that we live in, we have a tendency of automatically having a moment of racial evaluation before we make a decision on a person that we don't know. That's what I meant by my point. But I believe it's just a dude that made a messed up decision, and
So you think it was a
I don't think
mistake
that
for
he
him to kill Trayvon?
no, I don't think it was a mistake in the sense of like, ooh, I made a mistake and pulled the trigger. That's a mistake. I think it was something. I think it was a a mistake in the sense of decision. The decision that he made to do what he did was detrimental to him as well as to Trayvon. And not saying to Trayvon's death is not saying that Trayvon's death is equivalent to the destruction that he caused in his own life, but I don't think that that dude would have felt if I pull this trigger, I can destroy my life too. So I'm going to go ahead and destroy my life and kill this young black man. I don't think that dude thought about that at that moment. I think that he really, it was a situation of race involved, like Richie Rich said, yes. But I think I would say up to 70%, it was just a dude that overstepped his boundaries. He overstepped his authority. I don't know if he was the dude like we always say about police officers, the dude that couldn't get a date during a prom. So now he's a tough police officer in the neighborhood because he couldn't get no sex in high school. I don't know what situation it was. I'm just being tongue in cheek with that. But what I'm saying is, it was my opinion is 70% a dude that overstepped his boundaries and destroyed everything around him to the day that he died himself. More or less than maybe 30%, it being 30 to 20 actually percent of it just being hey, I got an opportunity to kill a black man, I'm gonna take it. I don't think he was thinking like that.
Next. Go ahead, Drake.
Who's next?
Drees, good.
Mm, my bad. Dude overstepped his boundaries, but at the same time, you stalking a dude, and of course, if you keep walking behind me, I ain't did nothing. You keep running up on me, yeah, I'm gonna do you something. But he didn't have to shoot the man to kill him. Could have shot the man in the leg and the arm or something to subdue the man if he was just a rent a cop. You cannot. If you're not the person that's supposed to take authority in your hands, you can't take authority into your own hands. So the brother overstepped his boundary. Only thing is, it's been 7 years. People been talking about he needed this, he needed that, and nothing has happened. And I don't think anything is gonna happen to the man, unfortunately. But the brother overstepped his boundaries, and that's that. You know, that's between him and the man upstairs. And it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be when it comes time for him to judge. But
Brother man, go ahead, brother man.
All right, so let's look at the facts that 911 dispatcher told him not to pursue the guy. He has no legal right to pursue anybody, even though he's a neighborhood watch. All he can do is report what he's seen and keep an eye on him. Now, if you want to say he's racist or he's not racist, we don't know. We can never prove that. But what we can say is this: at that moment in time, he fell into a racist mind frame, thinking that this young black guy was threatening. Because we all hear that same story. A black man is so threatening. I was afraid. I was fearful in the United States. So that's all I got for that one. But you don't hear that in Colombia.
No, you don't.
Okay. I think everybody made a valid point.
I gotta talk to you, Erwin.
What's
I
up?
gotta talk to you, man. Now you said earlier you got profiled on the highway,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mhm.
My question is, did Trayvon Martin, what did he actually do before he met up with Zimmerman? He went to the store, got a soda, got a drink, got a soda and some candy, was coming back, watched the game, right?
Mhm.
So what did he do to get questioned by this neighborhood cop? You know what I'm
Nah, there
saying?
wasn't a cop.
What was the reasoning for this guy following him, man? He got profiled from the start. This is what y'all missing, man. Y'all just looking at what happened in between the conflict. He got profiled, number one. He wasn't doing shit wrong. He wasn't breaking into nothing. He was coming back from the store, a black man with a hoodie, stereotype, racist stereotype. Then you follow the guy, you approach him after you was told by a police dispatcher not to, and the last thing you said was, they always get away with it. Now, how do you take racism out of that shit? I don't understand.
Here's the thing, Rich, and you got a very valid point, right? So I want to make sure everybody like really understands what I'm saying. I'm not like, because I wasn't there and I wasn't in the situation, I cannot say most definitely he was racially profiled. Now I can say I wait,
You need to see the
hear me out though. Hear me out. I can say objectively that, according to what it looks like, that is definitely a possibility, and I'm not excluding that off to the table. It might have been racially profiled. It may have been also that he does neighborhood watch. It's not like it was his first day of neighborhood watch. He's doing this more than once. He's familiar with kids or people walking in and out that neighborhood. Now, mind you, Martin was there on vacation, so that may not have been something that he factored in. Also, the fact that it was dark, it was raining, and the kid had a hoodie. So when he's using the word "they always get away," we don't know if he's talking about teenagers in general. But I mean, look, here's the thing, bro. Like, I come from this is how I come. I come from the perspective of how a prosecutor would think and how a defense attorney would think. Like, when you say they, that doesn't specify to me race. That doesn't specify to me gender. That doesn't specify to me anything. Like, you're saying they always get away. I don't know if you're talking about teenagers. I don't know if you're talking about black teenagers. I don't know if you're talking about white teenagers. All I know is you're referencing they always get away. Now,
I do want to say one
You
thing.
sound like a lawyer, man.
I'm about to say I do want to say one thing.
but let's be real though. Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
want to say one quick thing, because I haven't said anything about this.
Okay.
I just want to say, why is African Americans, and this is the biggest problem. This is the biggest problem. Same thing, kind of what you brought up earlier, Rich, about the whole thing that happened with the Charleston shooting. Why do we always low key question and cape when something happens to our people, and white people are on code and they do not do this? Every white person dang near, had this been vice versa, they wouldn't even have these discussions. Whether they knew the truth or not, they would say he killed him because he was white. But it's like we always give them the benefit of the doubt, and I don't understand why we do that. Like, and I get your point, but it's like they don't even give us that. Why do we every situation where it's like this, even when the one where the big guy was getting choked out, I was hearing people say, man, he should have just did this. I was like, the man was getting choked out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I think it was Eric Gardner, the big guy that was getting choked out. And it's like, why do we always and I get your point, Erwin. I'm not getting on you, and I'm just saying we gotta get on code, bro. We gotta stop doing that and be unified, bro. Like other races just do not do that. Like, let me say this last part.
Go ahead.
I don't know if y'all remember this. This happened a couple years ago where the Asian police killed an unarmed black man, I think in New York. Somebody may know what I'm talking about, somebody don't. But if you Google this, you'll see this. So he killed a guy unarmed. And you know what the Asians did? They didn't have debates like this. The Asians came together, marched, protested, threatened to take away their economic power. And guess what? They let that same Asian police officer off who killed that African-American man unarmed. So all I'm saying is, man, we got to stop even. Somebody said you're being the contrarian. I kind of agree. Bro, we got to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Bro, he killed the man because he was racist, bro.
Here's the thing.
And whether that can be proven or not, bro, he's done so many things to show us what time it. Look at this. Wait. What time it was.
But here's my thing, right? And I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not picking a side. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he's definitely wrong for murdering that boy. Like,
you're right. So let's just focus on that, though.
Yeah. So here's my thing. So
even say, well, what is he self-defense? Forget all of that. But it was wrong and stick with that.
But Data, here's my thing. So I'm coming from the standpoint of he wrongfully killed that boy. I'm not taking the standpoint of he wrongfully killed that boy because that boy is black. I cannot honestly say that with 100% certainty. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
when they hung Africans, not us, but Africans that came to this country years ago during slavery, did they do it because the slave didn't listen? Did they do it because the slave was black? Did they do it because he was tall? Guess what? It didn't matter, bro. What they did was still wrong, and that's all I'm saying. Let's not even give any benefit of the doubt.
But here's the thing: we're saying the same exact thing, though, Data.
Here you go. He retweeted Trayvon Martin's dead body on his Twitter.
Come on, bro.
But Data, like you and I are saying the exact same thing.
I don't think we are, man. I don't think. But you are of course, but on this subject, I don't think, because the fact that you're even giving him any latitude, bro, he don't deserve that. That's
See, I can't make a comment like that. I can't make a comment like that, bro.
This is why we'll never be on code in the United States, bro. Right now.
I'm thinking that what he's saying is, no matter what took place, there is a young child that was murdered. He should go to jail for that murder of a young child, no matter what race he was. I don't care if he was black. I don't care if he was Asian. I don't care if he was whatever racial persuasion. That man should right now be rotting in somebody's prison, or if not on death row, because of the death of a child.
Correct.
Because those mothers are not grieving because of the color. The community is grieving because of the color. Those mothers are grieving because of their young boy, not black boy, young boy. Their
being taken away.
Dead.
Correct.
So that's what he's saying, that we should focus on getting these men or individuals in jail because of these kids are being killed. We keep it
correct.
They are killing our kids. These ain't grown ass men that they trying to kill out. They killing kids, and we keep on trying to make it black, and that didn't work. So let's talk for what it actually is. Our kids are being killed.
And to add to that,
going to jail for killing children.
Correct. And to add to that, in addition, remember, I'm trying to say that I cannot, with all the information I know, I cannot 100% say that the killing was racially motivated. That's all I'm saying. In other instances, with other situations, yeah, I could easily say it was 100% racially motivated. I'm just speaking for this particular instance.
If he was white, would he die that night?
I can't say that, bro. Like that's why I said we can't agree.
Is what you're saying right now.
Here's the truth, though. Here's the truth, though. That's an emotional question. Like, you're asking me a hypothetical emotional question, bro. Like, let's be real about this.
Reality question. How many white kids you hear getting shot down and killed by the police or neighborhood watch guys, man, that shit don't happen, bro.
See,
That shit just don't happen, bro.
Rich, listen to your words, bro. Listen to your words.
All right, well, go ahead.
You're saying white people don't. You're saying white officers don't kill white young people. Is this what you're saying?
That's very, very rare, bro.
Okay, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but it happens, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? Like all I'm saying is I can't sit here with 100% certainty and say that his death was racially motivated.
But you kind of like.
You know what else also happened?
To me, you kind of like. Because earlier you said you got profiled in your car.
Correct.
How you know 100% they profiled you because you was black?
Because I literally saw other white people driving next to me with oranges on their license plate, bro. But my mom's was the only one that was dark skinned wearing a do-rag.
100% then that you was being profiled because you was black.
Not only
you don't know 100% that Trayvon was being profiled.
Here's the thing, Rich. This is what separates the difference. I was there. I was in that situation. It's a whole different perspective. You're getting information from the news media.
Did the police officer say, "Hey man, I pulled you over because you was black and you had a do-rag on"?
Nah, he didn't say that.
You don't know 100% that he pulled you over because you was black.
Rich, I was there, Rich.
I understand you was there.
I felt it. Do you
I understand you was there, man. And I have met Travon Martin and his dad before in real life.
Oh wow!
I was there. I have met them in person.
But none of us were there that night.
No, we wasn't there that night. But I mean, common sense tell you, the guy saying they always get away.
I can't say that.
He's profiling the kid because he got a hoodie on.
I can't say that.
The 911 tapes tells you that. He says, "Oh, he's looking suspicious. He has a black hoodie on and a baggy
Rich, this is what you're doing, right? Rich, this is what you're doing.
Go ahead,
what you're doing is you are actually taking the word they, and in your own mind, you are replacing it with black. That's what you're doing, bro. You're saying they, but you're reciting in your head, black people always get away. This black kid got that. Okay. That's what you're doing.
Forget about they. Why is he suspicious looking? Because he's walking in the neighborhood. Maybe. What makes a person suspicious, man?
I mean, the fact that you're walking at nighttime with a hoodie. I mean, it's
raining. It's drizzling. It's raining. It's a little chilly out.
And that's why I said we're not saying the same thing, bro.
It wasn't chilly out, and it was a light drizzle, but it wasn't chilly out. And but you're right, it was a light drizzle.
The hoodie is on.
That may be why the hoodie's on. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I can't tell you why dude thought it was suspicious or why he thought it was weird. Like what we're doing is we're dictating how a man felt in that instant based off of race and what we think and what we're accustomed to seeing and feeling. I can't say it with 100% certainty. That's what I'm saying.
I've got a question for the panel. Would you guys had been more happy if he gotten convicted for killing a black person or convicted for killing a child? That's either or. I don't want to hear both. Would you have been more at peace for him being convicted for killing those mothers?
It was a black kid. That was my problem. It was a kid.
I didn't say that. I asked either or.
Kid.
Would you have been more at peace with him being convicted as being murdered for killing a child or murder for killing a black? Because all I'm hearing in our community is black. No, the reason why I said that question, before I let you guys answer, the reason why I present it like that, I rarely hear anybody other than the mothers talk about him as a young man. Most people talk about him as a black man and don't talk about the fact that this child got killed. We kind of skim over the child part, but we'll pick it all day long with picket signs for the black part in him. And that's not fair to the mothers that lost a child. So I ask you, would you have been more at peace that he got convicted because he was black, or if the guy got convicted because he was a child?
Man, I got upset because he was a child, man. That was my whole reasoning, because if you look at the backstory, man, it was a lot of black kids getting killed by cops and different stuff. And this case was like, it was like fucked up, man. Like, you profile the kid, you follow him. All you had to do was stay in your car. That's all you fucking had to do. Stay in your car, stay with him. You already called the cops. The cops on his way. But you took it upon yourself to get out the car, follow him, you know, after you profiled him, and then you question him like you a cop. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, man? It's in a dark alley late at night. Some guy just approaching you, kept following you. What the hell you supposed to do? You're supposed to sock him in the nose and get the hell on or whatever you did. In my opinion, shit. He could have been a child rapist. Shit, you don't know.
I was gonna say a kid
I would have just been,
because it was a kid. He's so young.
I just would have been more. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Drew.
I just would have been more at peace for a man going to jail for killing a person. Period.
Facts.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Like, I mean, I know you want us to separate it, but we can't, man. That's why I said we just gotta start getting on code, man, and just like, okay, he killed him, he was wrong, and just roll with that instead of saying, well, did he do it because of who cares why he did it? When it comes to us, it don't matter why they did it, bro. They put you away and they locking away the key, bro. It happens all the time, man. All the time. Like, statistically, we get harsher sentences than they do with everything, bro. And they don't ever add these little extra little conversations on Fox News or none of that, bro. Like, they don't give us that. Like, even with Bill Cosby, bro, and the facts was there. The facts was there. You still can't convince any white person pretty much that he did not drug them women, even though the women took the pills themselves. They took them themselves, but yet they still locking him up for drugging women, even though they literally took them and took them themselves, which makes no sense to me. That's like me going to jail for you smoking weed or drinking or something like that, and literally you pour your own glass and then drink it and then blame it on me. Like, bro, it happens all. We gotta stop doing that, bro. Stop giving them any type of leeway, bro, and just be on code. This is the stuff Tariq Nasheed talks about. For those of you who know that it is, you know that it is.
So, Dada, let me ask you this: when you're saying we gotta stop doing that, we gotta all be on code. So, does that mean that anytime that we feel some type of injustice is done, regardless if the evidence can substantiate it, like we just have to be on code to convict them, regardless?
Yes.
I'm trying.
Yes. Because that's that. I mean, and you know, and that's another thing.
Hold on 1 second. The brother Jermaine has something to say. Let him get it in real quick. All right, Jermaine, you sleeping?
No, I'm here. No, I was just answering to Andre's question. He said if he was more concerned with it being a black person or a child. I said a child because he was so young.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right, Trevor, go ahead.
I mean, to me, man, it's deeper than that, man. Like, it's layers to all of this, bro. Like, we so forgiving, and we want to give people a fair trial, and it's like, when do we get it? Like, we give it to everybody else. Well, it could have been this. Did he do it because he was? Who cares? Like, throw away the key. Like, he killed the man. Like you said, he killed a child. The dude. Number one, you killed the man that was unarmed. And you a grown man, bro. Like, you couldn't get him off the hands. Even if you couldn't get him off the hands, you killed them. Like, you killed them, and he ain't even had no gun. Like, come on, man. Like, man, I done been in situations where I might have had something on me, or maybe not, and I fought somebody when I could have went a whole nother way. I didn't kill the man.
But Dada, here's the thing, right? What you're saying, and that's why it's kind of weird that you're disagreeing with me, because what you're saying is what I'm saying. Like,
no, it's not.
This is the difference, right? You're saying that he killed a child that was unarmed and he's a racist. He needs to do time. I'm saying he killed a child that's unarmed
I can't validate for 100% certainty that he's a racist, but
So
he needs,
what?
but he needs to do time. But
Fact.
you're not
I
happy.
agree.
But that's what I'm saying. You're not happy with the fact that I can't, with 100% certainty, say that he's a racist. Like, you're putting me in the category of like I'm being lenient toward him.
I don't know, man. That's what it sounds like. I mean, because what you just said in one sentence, you did a lot of other talking that wasn't what you just said in that one
Listen,
sentence.
at no point in the whole conversation did I say that he's not guilty and he should.
Oh,
And he
I know.
time.
But it sounded like as you started building up your point, you were starting to bring up stuff that didn't matter. Like when Rich started talking about it raining in the hoodie, you was like, well, he was wearing a hoodie. Why even bring that up? You brought that up. Why even bring that up? Like, the fact is, it's done. He killed the boy who he physically probably was stronger than. And it's like, come on, bro. Like,
well, remember,
we get caught up in details that don't matter at this point.
But remember, Rich asked the question. I was just answering the question that he asked, because Rich asked, well, why was he following him? Why was he suspicious? So I was just giving possible reasons. And I said, and even after I gave those reasons, I said, I don't know. I said, dude had on a hoodie on. It could have been that. It could have been something else. I don't know. We weren't there in that moment. I was just answering his question. I wasn't trying to like defend this whole situation.
Okay. But you're saying they was profiling y'all, and your peoples had a do-rag on.
That was a situation. That was a situation I was involved in, Rich. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, I was there. I felt it. Like, for you, like, if you're telling me a story and then you're like, yo, man, I felt this, I felt that, this is what happened, I could be like, well, I don't think that happened. What I'm saying don't matter. I wasn't there when you experienced that. You see what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you is, if you felt like you got stereotyped or you got profiled, why wouldn't you give this guy to do justice? You don't have to be there to understand why the guy was following him.
Here's the thing,
the reason why he was following him, bro.
Rich, here's the thing. I didn't say that he wasn't stereotyped, and I didn't say that he wasn't stereotyped. I'm saying I don't know,
he
bro.
Profiled or not?
I'm saying I don't know, bro. like you guys are convicting me because I don't know. Like, that's what you're doing.
Like you're saying it because it's convenient.
I'm not saying it because it's
because you was there, but obviously it was a reason why he was following this kid.
Of course,
had a reason. So logically, the reason is either it's a black kid, maybe the thing on his head, the hoodie. I mean, that could be the only reason why. Maybe he was checking some doors. He didn't mention nothing about that.
And I'm agreeing with everybody on the panel. It could be numerous reasons why he was followed or why he was deemed suspicious. It could be that he was racially profiled. It could be something that has nothing to do with being racially profiled. All I'm saying is I don't know, bro. So because I don't know, I can't speak on that. I can only speak on an unarmed young male was killed, bro. Like, that's all I can speak on. And he should be doing the rest of his life in prison for that. But I can't speak on the other stuff that I that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm the type of person, bro. Like, if I'm in the jury and I'm that one person that don't agree with everybody, I'm not gonna put that dude in prison, bro, and lock him up for the rest of his life.
Well, if you're a detective, you're a police officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're running up on this case. Now, you have to come up with some type of judgment or hypothesis, whatever you want to call it. You got to come up with a theory. Your theory wouldn't be that guy got profiled?
I can't say that, bro, because nothing would lead me to believe that. I'm being honest with you. Nothing would lead me to believe that.
Okay. Well, we just agree to disagree, man. It's all good, man. I don't believe you was profiled either, man,
But here's the thing, though, right? You have every
I wasn't there, man.
Hey, Rich, listen. You have every right to believe that. And believe it or not, if you told me that, I wouldn't even debate you on something like that, because you weren't there. So like you said, you really wouldn't know. So I could understand that perspective. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with you saying that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I hear you, man. But just like Trapper Data says, man, I feel like a lot of times, man, we do give them the benefit of the doubt of things. We forgive too much, and you know, in our case, they don't forgive us. They convict us on TV every day, man. It's like we don't get those breaks, man. You know, if that was the other way around, man, if there was a black guy driving that car and he shot a white kid, Andre, if that was a black man that shot a white kid, how many years you think he would have got?
Maybe about, I would say, a year before they put him in the electric chair and set him on fire. Yeah, he'd
So
got
what you
about
think, Erwin? What you think if that was the other way around as a white
I,
guy?
I think I could understand why Andre would say that, but I also think that I'm also in a state where there's video footage of a black dude with dreads at a Waffle House shooting a white dude in front of everybody, and he ain't do no time. And I've seen other situations like that's what I'm telling you. Like there's always variables, bro.
Why
But
he
There's
didn't do
video
time?
footage.
my you said what?
Why he didn't do time?
I
Video
don't.
footage.
I can't speak on why he didn't do time, but all I'm saying is
Video footage.
whether there's footage or not, there's been footage and black people still get convicted. All I'm trying to say is that I can't speak on something I don't know, bro. Like I can't. Like if I know, I'm gonna speak on it. If I don't know, I'm only gonna speak on what I know. I can't speak on it, but I understand the perspective of if the roles were reversed, what would have happened because that is normally how it happens. I
So
can't
is
say
that
that.
your philosophy on every case? Like, are you willing to say, well, R. Kelly, I don't know that he messed with these girls, man. I wasn't there. I mean, I don't know Bill Cosby, man. Hey, I wasn't there. I don't know if he dropped pills in these girls. Is that your philosophy on everything,
Nah,
or
I can't
just
say
in
that.
certain cases?
It's a case by case basis. It's based upon the evidence that I have.
So
I
did
can't.
R. Kelly mess with little girls?
You mean in the most recent accusation or in the past?
Period, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You wasn't there.
But I seen the footage.
How you know that was R. Kelly?
I don't know it was him, but I believe it was him.
Good one, Erwin.
but also realize, Rich, that he's not taking away the conviction, and not one point in time of his discussion that he says that let's take this dude and set him free, or let's not get this dude convicted at all. He's still saying throw him in jail and throw away the key. He's just saying that I'm not going to automatically follow the masses definition of why I should throw away the key, but I still agree with you all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw him in jail and throw away the key.
Correct.
So we can all have discussions after the dude get convicted, but still all agree on one thing: this man should not be walking around free.
Correct.
Oh, so you agree he shouldn't be walking around free?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh nah. Listen, he should be doing the rest of his life in locked up. Like
Why?
he killed an unarmed young boy in the kid's neighborhood while he was here during the
How you know he
summertime.
wasn't defending himself?
He might have been defending himself, but I don't feel he had to die. That's my whole point.
So
Like-
why do we have to do time if he defended himself?
Because he killed somebody. You didn't have
If somebody picks a fight with you, sock you in the nose, and you decide, hey, your life is threatened, you want to kill them, all right?
listen.
They started the fight.
You. This is how I feel, okay? Because I'm in Florida. If you are holding if you are holding a handgun, all right, that's legally registered in your possession, and somebody punches you in the nose, and you feel that this unarmed person who punched you in the nose is deserving of losing their life when they do not have a firearm, you are not capable of possessing a firearm, nor should you ever have one. So if you're going to take that man's life, you need to do life. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
So why you think he shot him like in the chest where he did?
I can't speak on that. I don't know. I wasn't there during that battle, during that struggle. I don't know what took place. I don't know.
But the evidence supports Trayvon was on top of him. He got the gun up and shot him
Uh-huh.
right then. So you know If you shoot somebody in the chest area or near the heart, there's a good chance they're gonna die.
Correct.
So
I
you
agree
don't
with
think his intent was to kill him at that point?
you. I mean, regardless of whatever his intent was, he killed the person. Well,
Right.
whether
So
he
my
did,
question is now is why do you think he killed him?
I don't. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know. I can't. You want me to say because he's black, bro? I can't say that. That's what I'm trying to tell
Now
you.
I just want you to tell me why.
I don't.
You think he killed him? You think he has got his ass whooped? Or
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It could be because he's black. It could be because he was getting his ass beaten. He was in fear. It could be he didn't, intend to shoot him in the chest, but he didn't know how to handle the firearm and it accident. I don't know, bro. It could be various reasons.
you got a question right here. This ain't even for me. You see it, Erwin?
Let me see. Oh, D Bizzle. What I'm lost on with Irwin is how he knows he was racially profiled and not pulled over because of the tent. Okay. This is why I feel that way, right? It's numerous vehicles that I seen from Florida with the orange license plate on as we were driving, and they were driving a lot faster than me. My mom is not somebody from this country. My mom is somebody who's very fearful of law enforcement and things like that. She's not the way that I was, and she was the driver. And the fact that this guy followed us was following us for a while and then pulled us over as we watched numerous other vehicles drive by with tent, without tent, windows down, white people with the orange license plate, with the orange on their tag with the license plate, and then pull us over and then speak to her. And the way he was speaking and the way he was acting and the way he was questioning and the way that I was telling stuff and the way she was telling me to respond, then he came on my window. It didn't feel like and I'm going by feeling, right? Because it's not like he said, "Oh, you're black." It's not like he said you had the do-rag on. He didn't mention those things. It was the way he approached, the way he presented, the feeling that I had. I've been stopped by cops before, and at no point did I feel like it was some type of racial thing at all. So it was more of the feeling and what I saw taking place around. Could I be wrong? Yo, I'm not taking away from the fact that I could be wrong. I may not have been racially profiled. There's always that percentage. There's always that factor. But I'm telling you, I feel it was racially profiled. And then when I started asking more questions, and then he gave that excuse of, oh, the license plate, and then people from Florida are normally trafficking drugs, and then I started saying stuff like, what about all the other orange license plates that I seen driving by? They weren't pulled over by you, and we've been watching you follow us all this time. So it's like he was fishing, like giving answers, and then
How many cars can he pull over at once, though, Erwin?
I mean, I don't know. It was one person. He could only pull over one car at a time, but for some reason, it happened to be ours. It happened to be ours.
But do realize, not to cut you off, Erwin, but do realize Erwin just made a key statement that he could be wrong. And no one on the panel has taken the time out to say, with in regards to Erwin's situation, maybe we could be wrong. Maybe he wasn't 100% racially profiled as far as, I mean, talk about back to the Trayvon Martin situation, 100% I'm going to kill a black kid situation. We don't know. And this is the other thing that we haven't taken into account as well. There are other Irwins out there in the black community that are fighting for this guy to be convicted. We don't know the full scale of everything, but yet we're fighting on the same side of that you guys are fighting for this guy to be convicted, even though we're not 100% sure on what the heck took place. But we know one thing, that this dude killed an unarmed man, and we want him to be convicted. So it's almost as if the panel, and I'm not stereotyping us guys, but and even some of the guys in the chat line are not realizing there are Irwins out there in our community that just don't know that they have that right. Well, you don't agree that he should be convicted because he killed a black brother. I don't know, but notice I'm standing out here with a picket sign, just like you have.
Exactly.
So why are you fussing at me? As long as I'm out here with the picket sign, you should be proud of me as a black man And if I say I don't know that diversity in thoughts, but yet we collaborate as a unit, there are other Irwins out there. There are a lot of us that can't say 100% for sure, but yet we're out there with the picket signs. We're out there with the bullhorns. We're out there with the getting sprayed by the police officers. We're out there dealing with the smoke bombs. We're out there dealing with city council members and calling the White House. We're doing that too, even though we
Yeah.
may not be 100% sure. But we know one thing: we're sure about a child being killed, and we're
Hmm.
sure about these mothers that are grieving. So we're out here with you guys as well. But you may not be able to convince us quite yet the why. But as long as we out here with the picket signs with you, brothers, that's the part I care
Hmm.
about.
And remember, like I said, it's on a case by case basis. I'm just speaking on this case. I don't feel that way with every case. You know what I'm saying? But it's just on this case. Certain cases, I'm like, I think it's clear as day. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
what do you think about Zimmerman? With this Confederate thing, I guess he selling the Confederate flag to some Muslims or something like that. What do you think about the aftermath of all that? Man, I'm selling the gun and
I think regardless of race, whether black, white, Asian, whatever, regardless of race, regardless of nationality, regardless of if it's something traumatizing, something sad that destroys families, bad news or good news, people are going to look for ways to monetize. And that's really what it comes down to.
Brother Domain, what up, man? I know you had something to say, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say to the people on the panel and the people in the chat room, do you think racism exists in the United States? And do you think that as Black people, Black men in particular, that you have full civil and legal equality as a citizen of the United States?
I'll be the first to
Race?
answer, I guess. Or Drees, it's up to you.
No, I do believe that racism exists. The system exists in the United States. And maybe I do not have the civil equalities that I'm supposed to have in the United States. So I guess as a person of the minority, we get the shit end of the stick here. So
Mm-hmm.
the system exists, yes, and we don't have the same equality. I guess separate, but still separate but equal.
All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, brother Andre. Erwin, go ahead.
In regards to this the main statement, in regards to the main statement, I agree with the fact that we have these rights, but we aren't given the opportunity to fairly take advantage of these rights in the states. So they exist on paper, in other words, but it's not as far as in practice. They're not we're not equal, or we're not treated with the proper fairness. Now, as far as what travel scientist was saying in regards to, uh, I believe that we should take the option of moving outside the country and things like that. Well, that's for those who have the opportunity. Some of you guys have families and sons that you want to raise and be
Mm-hmm.
And
there for your
felonies.
and be there for your mother when she gets older. My mother has already passed. My dad has already passed, and I don't have any kids. So for me to make that decision a little bit easier compared to some of you guys that are still in the states because you have family or financial responsibilities there. So I don't want to put everybody in a stereotype, but I am happy about that there is diverse opportunity for us to, if we want to take advantage of living outside the United States, we can. Just think about this. Not even 10 years ago, it would be hard pressed to find a panel where you have uh, three dudes that are living in the states and three dudes that are living out of the states on the same panel. It would be hard, and we're just all regular round the way dudes. It would be hard pressed to do that. So it's good to see that diversity is taking place slowly but surely among the Afro American, especially us males in our population, that it's getting a little more. And that's my close.
The main, man, can you repeat the question, man?
Sure.
Uh,
I said, do you believe that particularly as a black man living inside the United States, that you have full civil equality and full legal equality? And do you think that racism does or does not exist in the United States?
Man, of course racism exists, man. You know, it does, man. I think it exists more in different cities, different states than others. You know, here in Atlanta, it does exist. You know, even though a majority of Atlanta is black, but you got a lot of. I mean, basically, the governor of Georgia pretty much runs the whole state, including the mayor of Atlanta, in my opinion. A lot of that stuff comes down from the top. It's a Republican state. So, I mean, you got a lot of good opportunities here in Atlanta, probably more than other cities on average. But yeah, it still get popping out here for sure. And as far as equality, um, I mean, I mean, shit has gotten better. I mean, since maybe the 50s, the 40s, and stuff like that. But it definitely ain't equal, man. We ain't on equal playing grounds, man. I'm telling
No.
you. You know, my dad always told me, man, you gotta be better than the white boy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be smarter, faster. You know what I'm saying? You gotta beat him out if you want a job, man, or whatever the case is. Playing sports, you gotta be faster and bigger and stronger, man. So, what's your opinion on it, brother?
Mine?
Yeah.
Hey man, I lived in Atlanta. I lived in DC. I lived up north. Yes. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes, it exists. And no, we still ain't got equality as a black man living in the United States. I've experienced it.
So what
Can't
about
argue a man
Colombia,
that's
man? What about Colombia, man? You feel like you got equal rights up there, brother?
well, it's like this here. Since I'm gonna be honest with you, I am not a citizen of this country as of yet. And I did not grow up here as a young person. So as Brother Dre was saying earlier, I didn't walk the same walk as the Afro-Colombians did in Colombia. However, what I do have is a privilege. And the privilege is that I come as a black man from another country and I have the opportunity to make more money as opposed to if I was just coming from and living and working in Colombia.
Oh, this is a funny one right here. You want to get on him, Drake? You want to address that one?
Okay, we don't have the luxury of our people because we are fragmented. Some of us would rather leave the country than fight the battle. Oh, oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, we you said we got to end the show in 10 minutes. We only got seven left, and I got about 35 minutes worth of comment. So here's what it is. Like I mentioned before, the mistake that this person is making when they make that statement like that, they forget the beauty. And I'm going to say this word one more time: the beauty of the diversity of our people. Our people do not have to be corralled into one state, and we don't have to be corralled into one city, and we don't have to be corralled into one country. The beauty of the black experience historically has always been our ability to move and to grow and not let grass grow up under our feet. Learn your history, brother, before you make statements like that, because there would not be blacks in Detroit if it wasn't for the migration of the South. There wouldn't be blacks in the Atlantas if it wasn't from the migration from other locations. It wouldn't be. Think about it, how many brothers and sisters moved down to Atlanta because of Freaknik. So don't sit back and make that mistake of forgetting about the beauty of black migration. We are the new leg of migration of blacks that are moving back to Africa, blacks that are moving to Colombia, blacks that are moving to new states throughout the United States. Do not make the mistake of thinking that just because blacks have moved out of the country that we're running from the country. Actually, we're taking the experience, the knowledge, and the insight we have and are helping other blacks, such as in Cartagena, such as in Cali, such as in Medellin. We're taking that confidence that we grow with as blacks in America, bringing it to other countries, and they can learn insightful ways to do things, such as working in the stock market or working on creating online jobs because their country don't teach you to think like that. So for us not to travel, brother, is the most selfish thing that you could ever do as a black man. To sit back and say us four, no more, let's close the door. Instead of taking your ability as an American man and all the things that you've learned and share it with the world, you are being extremely, extremely selfish. And that's what I have to say about that.
All right, that's what's up, man. I gotta tell people, man.
Mic drop.
If we all from Africa, we all agree on that. The first African slaves were in Colombia. I mean, so you could have very well been from Colombia or Dominican Republic, Brazil, any of these countries. You could have very well been from there. You might have DNA from there. You just never know, man. So
Facts.
and
Only 4% of all slaves in the ships even made it to the states. 96% of each slave ship that left Africa, 96, the Caribbeans went to Cuba, went to Cartagena. That's why Cartagena it was considered the New York of the slave trade, and went to Brazil. 4% of what you're talking about, our experience, that means that you have 96% of history you still need to learn, brother. Everything that you know about the black experience is only 4% of the real black slave experience. So while we're out here living the homework and we're living the new experience and learning about the Cartagenas and learning about the Cubas and learning about the islands and learning about the Brazils, all you doing is rambling off about the little 4% that they taught us over the last 20, 30 years, which is a great percent because I love being a black in America, but don't get it twisted. We were not the only ones that were impacted by the slave trade. Actually, we were the minority country impacted by the slave trade, not the majority country.
right, and Brazil was the last country in South America to free the slaves, right?
Yes, yes, they
So
were.
you know, I mean, the history is deep, man. I mean, a lot of people just don't know, man. They just know from America's perspective, man.
And think about this, Rich. Also, did you ever think that acquiring that passport would introduce you to such levels of knowledge when it just a form of slavery? You just thought you would just go travel somewhere and just
Right,
have fun and go
right.
back home. And now you think as a man, as a black man, on a level that black men around you can't even relate to. You are so woke. They think that they're woke in the states. Get a passport and let's see how woke you really get.
I don't know why KC taking a big stand against brothers moving, out of the country, man. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I just tell people,
They
man,
don't need us in America.
You know
huh?
what? You know what I find funny about people who speak negative about people, about brothers or anybody in general that want to leave the country and move to, let's say, DR or Colombia or Costa Rica or even Germany or wherever it is they want to go. It's like if I sat there with a group of brothers and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling how it is here in Florida. The weather's hot. Like I don't like how my money ain't going too far. Like I want to move to Texas because I hear it's cheaper. Nobody talks shit. If a brother's in New York and he's like, you know what, it's expensive here. They got state tax, we got the federal tax, we got county tax. Houses is going up, it's crazy. I'm gonna move to Florida where my money could go a little bit farther. I got no state tax. Nobody says shit, right? The moment a brother opened his mouth, I want to move to DR or I want to move to Colombia. It's a huge problem all of a sudden. Like one thing I remember with Taylor Made's channel that he said when I used to watch it around the time he first started it, he mentioned that um, just because you're born somewhere and just because you live somewhere doesn't mean that's where you have to be. Like Chinese people aren't talking shit to Chinese people when they leave their country in China to move to New York. You know what I mean? Like nobody's talking shit to African people when they move to the United States. People in the United States don't talk shit to each other when they want to go to Canada or they want to go somewhere else. But the moment the black man wants to leave and do something, whether it's for economic purposes, whether it's for health, whether it's for weather, whether it's for love, whether for whatever reason it is, it's always a problem. And this and I think a lot of people like I'm fortunate enough that my parents are immigrants, so they've exposed me to traveling since I've since I could since before I could even remember I had memory. And I think when you travel and you broaden your horizon, when you spend all these years in school and you're learning about Egyptian history or European history, all the way up to American history, like you spend a lot of time learning about this shit. You learn a lot of time learning about Rome, a lot of time learning about Greek gods. Forget all these other countries where there's Latin American women or people mongering or whatever the case is for the reason why they're traveling. Like, why do you not want to leave your neighborhood? Why do you not want to leave your city? Why don't you want to leave your state? It may not be necessarily to live there permanently, but why don't you want to explore? As people, as human beings on this earth, that's all we have been doing since the beginning of time. Whether we were forced into it by slave trade or whether we were migrating, we have always moved around. Why people against that? And I really never understood that.
I don't understand it. The failure that a lot of people don't realize among black men. I'm like you, or when I have been a traveler since childhood. I was the kid that when you gave me a bike, that was the worst thing that my mother could have gave me was a
Mm-hmm.
bike because I was never in my neighborhood. I've had a traveling spirit since I was a child, and there are people in the black community, not just the white community, that are travelers by nature. If I was in Africa, I wouldn't be among my tribe too long because I would have been somewhere else on the other outskirts of Africa discovering new things. That's my makeup. Do realize that there are some blacks that will be born in our neighborhood in Detroit and will die in my neighborhood. I understand that and I respect that. But there are those of us that were born to migrate and discover and explore and to share. And you can't downgrade us because soon as a white boy turns 18, he says, Mom, I'm putting on a backpack and I'm going to travel the world. They make movies about it. And all you Negroes go to the theaters and y'all go ahead and y'all boost up the ticket sales to see them white boys travel around the world, cracking jokes and meeting women and whoremongering and everything. You think that's what it is. And he comes back, then he decides to go to college and becomes an entrepreneur. But as soon
Mm-hmm.
as a brother says, I'm going to put a backpack on my back and I'm about to go make a change in this world, you got something to say. Now, if you don't like me, I understand that, but you don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you have to respect the fact of the matter is I represent you and I represent the history of our people, and I'm getting on a boat or I'm getting on a plane without having to be in chains. You should appreciate the fact that I get the chance to migrate without having to be in chains, but you
Correct.
don't. You would rather hype up a white boy who even puts a movie out there and you call it a romantic comedy, but let a brother do it. You want to sit up there and criticize us and say, why don't we stay and fight the fight? There are more fights around the world for brothers to fight, like I'm doing here in Colombia with the
Exactly.
homeless and the poor, than the fight that you have in America. Yes, brother, fight the fight for the Trayvon Martins and fight for equality in America. But it don't take all of us to stay in America to fight the fight. There's others of us that's out here fighting global fights while you
Mm-hmm.
fighting local fights.
And if you really want to get technical about it, whenever I check off that application or whenever they look on a paperwork and they doing vital statistics, my label is African American. So that means Canada is mine, the United States is mine, Mexico is mine, South America is mine. I could go anywhere the fuck I want in those places. That's what the Americas are. So you know what I mean? My shit don't say United States American. That's it. It says American. I'm a U.S. citizen, but the Americas are anywhere that I could go to.
You're still in America, Andre.
Technically, you are.
I realize that.
Yeah,
Absolutely
him and Domain are in America still.
Now, yo, check it out. Y'all see this statement right here? I think I want to have a show just on that. And I know that can spin off other shit, but that's like a very common statement. The quality of life is so much better abroad. And I think we need to come up. I think we can put a panel together and we can talk about that, and y'all can put y'all little comments up, and I just want to debate that shit because I don't believe in all that shit.
That's an actual fact. That's an actual fact, though, Rich. And to even settle that debate, look at the obesity rate in the United States. Look at the heart disease rate. Look at people with heart attacks and strokes and diabetes and all of that. You know what I mean? Look at the amount of people that we have incarcerated. If you really look at the list of quality of life, United States is not even in the top 10.
Well, let's just save it. Let's just say that. And if y'all busy tomorrow, if y'all not busy tomorrow, y'all want to do the show tomorrow, we can talk about that. Everybody
I would love to be
tomorrow?
on that one.
I mean, I know y'all abroad. I need to bring on somebody else that disagree with this shit. Huh?
We're on the same time zone.
Okay, so I say 9:30. 9:30 at the latest.
Okay.
And we'll debate this shit. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't believe in all the hype, man.
But the key word that you just said, Rich, is all. It's
correct.
Not all hype. See,
right.
If you put it under the umbrella of all, then yeah, okay, we're living in utopia, which we all know that's not true. But if you
tomorrow, brother,
tomorrow,
brother, save it. I want you to say it because I know you. Hey, we're gonna be on here another hour.
Yeah, Andre got that. I know Andre and Domain gonna have that fire. I already know.
Well, we'll come back on tomorrow, man. Everybody invited that's on the panel. I'm gonna try to bring on somebody that's opposed to that. You know what I'm saying? So we can try to debate that. Try to debate that or whatever.
Who you got in mind?
Yeah, that might be hard to find.
Nah, it ain't hard to find because I'm one of them.
Oh, really? So.
Nah, tomorrow, man. Tomorrow.
No. I just wanted to hear.
Man.
No, I got you. I just wanted to hear what you say. Like, so you believe the quality of life in the U.S. is better? Is that what you're saying? I just want to get that point.
Mañana.
Tomorrow, man.
Okay.
Hey,
all right.
But hey, it's as good as you want as you make it. You know what I'm saying? Your quality of life. You can have a great quality of life in this country. All right. But let's talk about it tomorrow, man. Any last words y'all want to say?
Yeah, I'll start it off and I'll let you guys finish it. Just so because I want to make sure I'm understood. I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. But just know I fight the good fight. I love my people, and when I say my people, I believe I'm speaking on what we consider the color Black or African American. I am a 100% racist because I believe our people are superior than all other races on this planet. So don't get it confused when you hear me speaking objectively, because I try to understand both perspectives. But if you're wrong, I'm going to convict you. If you're right, I'm going to defend you. If I don't know, then I'm going to just stand in between. You know what I mean? I take the lukewarm position. I don't go with the masses. I formulate my own thought, my own opinion, and I believe everybody should be the same. And you know, at the end of the day, regardless of the reasoning that we feel, if we all do agree on the outcome, That's what matters. Now, how we get to the outcome and the reasoning for the outcome could vary amongst person, but as long as we get to that outcome, I think that's what matters. And brothers, collect those stamps, get that experience, collect all the evidence, and then come to your conclusion. That's it. And appreciate y'all brothers being on the panel, educated brothers, and us being able to, not really argue, but actually have a discussion. I think that's beautiful.
Brother Domain.
All right, so briefly, I'm just going to say, just like Brother Jackie said, what you have to do as a man, as an individual, is you have to come up with your own conclusion, weigh the facts, analyze the data, and don't follow the pack. Brother Jackie, I met you in person. You're real, 100. I got your back. Brother Rich, once again, thank you for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. Can't wait to see you again. And Brother Dre, brother, I'm coming to you. I will be in Cali on Wednesday.
All right, man. Welcome home.
Yeah, boy.
Welcome home, man.
All right, if anybody want to jump on the show tomorrow and you agree with me, you can have a better quality of life right here in America. Hey, got to be opposed to it. You can't be on there talking about, yeah, man, joining the other side now. So y'all hit me up. Roll the tape at yahoo.com. Drake, did you say your last words?
Yeah, my last words were that.
All right, what about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you having me on the panel. I appreciate everybody's comments, whether they're hating or not. I look forward to I met Rich before. Domain's my dude. I got love for Domain, educated brother. I call him the Panther. He's the Black Panther. He's gonna fight the good fight, bro.
Colombia.
He's worldwide, bro. If you got melanin, he got your back. You better believe that. And I like Andre. I watch your channel. I just subscribed today. But I'm looking forward to meeting you on my next trip, man. I love educated brothers and anybody who could help me learn and build. That's what I care about.
Oh yeah.
And I appreciate you having a different perspective, man, because if we all agree on everything, man, shit'll be boring. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes that good dialogue, man, hey, it's cool, man. But
different perspective, Rich. But remember, we wanted the same outcome. We
want the same outcome. Right. Okay. I see where you coming from with it. Okay. I see where you coming from, and that's how the court system should be, man. They should give everybody a fair shake, and but unfortunately, it don't happen like that every time. But but we'll chop it up tomorrow, man, if God willing.
Definitely.
So y'all hit me up, man. Hit my Instagram up, man. Roll the tape _ man. I ain't got no friends on there, man. I only got one friend, Andre, man. The rest of y'all ain't added me yet, man. That's fucked up. Well, peace out, brothers.
All right.
All right. Peace.